Ladies and gentlemen, it's finally time for X Games Gold matchup here at the Aspen Invitational. Benson joined by Walshy for this one. I cannot wait for this game.
And we've had a lot of storylines and a lot of drama leading up to this event, but none greater than the Lethal versus Evil Geniuses squad. Can't wait to see this finals.
We've seen it once already this tournament, and it went strongly in favor of CLG. Now we get to see it again, and having spoke to the guys over at Evil Geniuses, they said they prepared a little bit more, they've watched a lot of VOD, and they feel as if this is theirs for the taking.
Evil Geniuses were playing great when I saw them in their match against Legions. On the same flip side, though, CLG has yet to drop a game this tournament. I don't know which way this is going to go. If you asked me prior to this match, I would say CLG.
Wow. You actually had Evil Geniuses originally as your
Before the full
predictions,
tournament,
correct?
yes. CLG is the real deal. They have plowed through every single team that they have played.
I mean, these right now the two best teams in Halo, and they're going to be duking it out in a best of 7 for X Games Gold. It truly is going to be a series for the ages, or at least we hope so. I want to see it go all the way to Game 7. I feel like it would be so fitting for a game like this to go the distance.
Yeah, it can't be stated enough that these players are getting the exact same X Games Gold medal that someone's getting while going on the halfpipe,
yeah,
or whatever Winter X Games event they have here in Aspen. It's just unbelievable the level that Halo has now risen to.
Yeah, it really is fantastic. It's been a privilege to be a part of an event just like this. And of course, you can see the players now on your screens for both Evil Geniuses and CLG getting ready and their final preparation. I mean, Walsh, you've been in this situation thousands and thousands and thousands of times. How do you prepare in a match of this magnitude?
You take it game by game and just step by step. So what I would do at the very beginning of the series is just reaffirm ourselves, say, we got this. And what are we doing off the very start? Just kind of everyone get on the exact same page. So for example, the very first map on this one is going to be Coliseum, Capture the Flag. Ooh. So we talk about, all right, who's going for sniper? What do we do when we're all 4 down? And what do we do when we have the advantage?
Exactly, and luckily for Evil Geniuses, they're going to have Towie, the 5th man, directly behind him. Shout out to Towie, doing a fantastic job casting as well in that last series. But looking at the maps, as you mentioned, Walshy, Coliseum CTF Game 1, then Truth Slayer Game 2, Rig Strongholds is Game 3, Fathom CTF as a Game 4, and then of course if the series does continue further, Eden Slayer, Plaza Strongholds, and a Regret Slayer. Now, give me your expertise. Now you know the maps. Are you sticking with your prediction?
Yes. So last time we saw these two teams match up was yesterday in pool play on Coliseum Capture the Flag, where CLG beat Evil Geniuses 3-0. So they're heavily favored. Truth Slayer is, I feel like, a coin toss. CLG once again came ahead in that matchup, but it wasn't as convincing as a victory. It's not like a 3-0 victory or a 50-30 Team Slayer victory. That map and game type, I feel like, can go either way between these two squads.
In terms of that mentality, though, you know, CLG knowing they've already beaten Evil Geniuses 3-0, and it was a swift dispatch, let's be honest. It looked relatively simple. How is the mentality going to be now? Because are you kind of worried maybe they might go too comfortable, or do you think they're still going to give EG the respect?
No, CLG are not going to let up at this point. They've made it this far. The most surprising part is that they've kept their intensity up to this point.
Right.
They know they cannot overlook EG. This team made it to the finals for a reason. There is so much bad blood there between like this Lethal and Evil Geniuses squad. Yep. And one of these squads is going to be proven as having made the correct decision. Did Lethal make the right decision by leaving Evil Geniuses and going to the CLG squad? Or did he make the biggest mistake of his life and leave a potential championship squad and an X Games gold medal?
Well, speaking of Lethal, I believe we have Bravo on the floor with an interview with both Snipedown and Lethal himself.
All right, thanks, Ben. I'm just enjoying some pre-interview trash talk between these two guys. We have Snipedown and Lethal here. Snipedown, you're going up against CLG. Not only are they a top team, they haven't dropped a single game or match this tournament. Only one team's going to walk away with gold. How do you make sure it's your team?
Honestly, we played them last series. We feel like we're not looking at that at all. We're going into the series completely fresh, and we're just ready to, take the series, try our best. We're really happy with how we've played so far this tournament. We didn't have much time to practice, and we're just looking to, play our best, and we'll be satisfied.
Have you had a chance to look at the final 7 game types? How do you feel about that layout?
I'm extremely excited. We get to play a couple of the game types that they took from us in the first series, so we're excited to get some redemption on those, hopefully. And, we're just going to bring our A game this time, and hopefully it's a great series.
We're here at X Games, gold medals on the line. But tell me, is there any bad blood here between you and CLG?
I think a lot of it is just to kind of keep the rivalry going. A lot of people love seeing those rivalries. TJ and I definitely have a little bit of bad blood. I'll say that out loud for sure. And but at the end of the day, we're all here. We're all doing what we love, and that's what's really important here. So I'm just excited to have a fantastic series, and I'm glad it's ending this way against us and CLG, just like back in H2A.
I think this is the only way this tournament could end. Best of luck to you in this final match. Now, TJ, same question to you. I mean, you guys have not dropped a single game. I talked to you and your team earlier about whether you were going to be able to continue that up through the semis. You guys also went 4-0 again. You got to be feeling good going into this final 7. You guys feel good about these game types too?
Yeah, like you said, a couple of them are the same from the last series where we 3-0'd them. I think the first 2 are the same, Coliseum Flag and Truth Slayer, and I think Plaza Strongholds is also somewhere in there. So I like all the game types, but I think since we've already beat them on that, it might help us out a little bit more.
Tell me, if there's one player on EG that you feel you need to shut down, who is that player?
Probably Snipe Down. He's like the best player. He's just so sick. I get really worried when I see him, and it's just the stuff he does is insane.
All right. Well, any words here, Snipe Down?
I remember what happened last time. That exact quote was said to me. So watch your face.
All right. Well, my last question for Lethal was going to be if there was any bad blood, but I feel that question has been answered on its very own. We have our final X Games gold medal matchup coming up in just a bit. Back to you guys in the booth.
Watch your face.
Watch your face.
Okay.
Snipe Down is one of those players who plays better under the pressure, and when someone tries to get in his face and tries to trash talk, he rises to the occasion. I've been on the receiving end of that before when we had a match against Straight Rippin', and the following game, after we had talked some smack after winning the first game, Snipe Down dropped over 22 kills in a TS game.
Nice. So don't upset Snipe Down. It's interesting you mentioned
don't
that.
piss off Snipe Down. So
it's interesting you mentioned that because I actually had a conversation with Kimo, one of the guys behind the scenes doing a fantastic job here at the X Games working for MLG, and he was telling me whenever Snipe Down goes quiet, that's when you really need to be worried because historically when he goes quiet, that's when he's really going to play his best, and you just don't, as you mentioned, you just don't want to annoy Snipe Down. That's just not a good thing to do.
So I'm excited to see. Yeah, I'm going to kick off this first game with Snipe Down as soon as we get a chance because I have a feeling he is just going to go off this series. It's one of those things that you already know he's pumped up enough for the series.
Right.
And just to have TJ, light that little match and throw it in the gasoline, we're going to see what happens.
I mean, how do you, if you're CLG in this case, how do you lock down a player like Snipe Down? Because it seems as if it's very, very difficult to do.
It's definitely a team effort. You have to get flanks on Snipe Down. So it's generally not going to be just cross-mapping and picking him off because Snipe Down positions himself so well that he's not just going to get picked up cross-map.
Right,
However, if you're able to have one of your sneaky players slip by, have either Frosty or Royal 2 slip by and get that flank, they'll be able to take down Snipe Down. But like I said, one of the biggest things is giving Snipe Down that breathing room because when he's able to go off, obviously Lethal was being a little facetious and just kind of joking around about Snipe Down there, but whole point being is he knows what Snipe Down is capable of.
I mean, speaking about Lethal, we should take a look at his player profile. This is a guy who, as you said, he's entertaining. He really is the full package. And when it comes to his Halo gameplay, he has been playing so very well here at the X Games. Pro player since Halo 2, first place, NA Online Qualifier #1. Of course, you guys can follow him at twitch.tv/lethal, and his Twitter is lethal as well. Be sure to shoot him a follow there. But in terms of that rivalry, head-to-head.
Yeah, that's, I guess, one thing we need to elaborate for new viewers. I guess we just assume everyone knows what this rivalry is. So
yeah,
what
break it down.
About 10 days before this event, Lethal left the Evil Geniuses squad and joined their biggest rivals, Counter Logic Gaming. Now, to put this in perspective, Lethal had won the previous two HCS Season 1 and Season 2 finals with Evil Geniuses, and they had yet to lose an online scrim. So they've been doing well, obviously not as well as they had hoped through the online ladders. The whole point being is they haven't been to a major live event yet, and Lethal left before they even got a chance to compete in Halo 5 in a major live event.
And to break that down, that was a very kind of strange thing. Like, it doesn't really happen. You expect, he'll ride it out.
You wait till they at least lose
event.
a major event or something along those lines. Give his team the benefit of the doubt. But Lethal just jumped ship and felt like CLG was the one to board. And
then, we talk about that rivalry. As soon as that change was made, of course, in the 5th North American Online Qualifier for the Halo World Championship, of course, in ironic fashion, CLG play Evil Geniuses. CLG managed to take that Series 3-2. Then, of course, in group stages here at X Games, CLG once again beat Evil Geniuses 3-0. So, technically, TJ must be feeling pretty good about himself because he has a 100% win ratio against his old squad.
Yes, he's feeling good so far, but that could all crumble down if Evil Geniuses are able to defeat Lethal and the CLG squad here at X Games in Aspen.
Of course, here is a look at the Evil Geniuses squad consisting of Snipedown, Roy, Lunchbox, and Commonly the new addition to this team, obviously filling in where Lethal left off. And coming into X Games again, there was a big question mark over Commonly's head. How is he going to be able to play? Will he feel the pressure? I mean, he's teaming with 3 of the greatest players in Halo history, and that has to be kind of pressure.
Yes, and that pressure can go very well or very poorly for him because, as we spoke before, if Evil Geniuses did very bad this event and placed like 5th through 8th or something along those lines, the fingers would be pointed at Commonly saying that's the flaw to their team because
right.
Evil Geniuses are so accomplished and done so well in the past. However, EG are now in the finals, and this is Commonly's chance to shine. It's
really
the
is.
opportunity of a lifetime that every competitive Halo player dreams of, is getting invited to one of those top-ranked teams and have a chance at winning an X Games gold medal.
Of course, Commonly one young gun over at Evil Geniuses, but over at CLG, they also have a young gun of their own. They have Frosty, and this whole CLG squad has been playing so well recently throughout online play, and of course here at X Games they've done well. But Frosty coming to X Games again, he was similar to Commonly, a question mark over his head.
Although the X Factor here is real too, one last note about Frosty is when I was out in Sacramento, this was about 5 months back preparing for the HCS Season 2 finals, I asked Frosty, like, hey, like, how many events have you been to? What was your first LAN? He's like, this is actually my 3rd LAN I've ever been to. Not just major events or anything, 3rd LAN. And I was like, all right, I think I went to my 3rd LAN when I was in like 2001, something along those lines. So he just rose through the ranks real quick, was a spot to watch immediately, but that X Factor is royal too because he is the one that they generally give the sniper to.
Yeah, and we've seen him just go completely off with the sniper rifle here at X Games, but the guys at the back have managed to give us a nice little graphic here of the players to watch this series. I think this is more just because of the bad blood that we know exists between these two, potentially, but Snipedown versus Lethal, definitely going to be the place to watch. And ironically, you can see Lethal there in his old Evil Geniuses
Exactly,
jersey.
that's how recent this team change was. You see Lethal still in his Evil Geniuses jersey.
Yeah, I mean, that is pretty ironic. But I have to kind of agree with players to watch this series because for me it really is all what Snipedown are we going to get here? Are we going to get that angry Snipedown that's going to sit down and
I'm
just
telling you,
completely tear it up?
Lethal literally just threw a match into a bucket of gasoline. That is one thing you do not do is talk trash to Snipedown. He is a player that rises to the occasion. There are a lot of players that play great under pressure and some that crumble when you trash talk them. Snipedown is one of those players that rise to the occasion.
And it's interesting as well when you divulge further into those team changes because Lethal knows exactly how EG play, and EG now know exactly how Lethal plays. That's the chemistry they have.
We're going to have to see how these players start off the beginning because last time EG knew exactly where Lethal was going.
The pre-nades?
Threw 2 grenades
Yep.
over at the BR setup and took him out immediately. But we want to start off this one with Snipedown from Evil Geniuses.
All right, let's get game number 1 of our gold medal matchup underway. Snipedown making his way over towards that sniper rifle, throws over a couple of grenades as well, being pretty cautious here. And actually waiting to see exactly where that first CLG play will be. Roy helps, and that was Lethal. So Lethal doing a very similar strat to what we saw the first time these two teams met.
Yeah, last time Lethal actually went for BR, but the whole point was Snipedown. Yeah, we're going to stick with him through the spawn, but it seemed like Lethal was a bit more aggressive there. Went straight towards Sniperage shortly after. But yeah, Snipedown was taken down right away, but we're going to have to see if he can get that weapon. I'm trying to look across the map and see if anyone has sniper rifle, but it seems like it's such a chaotic situation that if anyone does have in their back pocket, they're just trying to run to a better location.
Yeah, you want to try and get back towards your team. Of course, Lunchbox does have rockets, and if you are a new viewer to Halo Esports watching on ESPN, of course, CTF in Halo 5, first to 3 flag captures wins. It's very simple. You run to the opposition base, you pull the flag, and you take it back to your own base.
Yeah, and Snipedown in quite a predicament here. He is backed up in this corner cave, taken down by a grenade, so we'll jump on with his teammate, Roy.
Oh, and just as you do that, Roy throws out a nice little grenade, lands square at Royal 2's feet. Can he now find the second kill, which is going to be Frosty? Frosty does a good job of just managing to escape, but we're waiting for those shields to fully come back up before making his push. And I think it's fair to assume at this point, still haven't seen Sniper Rifle. I assume that was burned. Someone may have just dropped off the map.
No, it was down in the cave, but I'm not sure exactly where it's at. We'll get some eyes on that a little bit later, but you can see both these teams just focusing on Snipe side of the map. There's kind of a bit of a question of why would you focus Snipe side compared to Rocket side? And the answer is that Snipe Ridge is such a dominating position where you can control Snipe side and lay down shots all the way across the map where Rockets are much more vulnerable. Let's jump on to the other side and see Snakebite from CLG.
Snakebite now, once again, making his way over towards that snipe side. Needs to track back towards his own flag here, though, recognizing that EG are being aggressive, and that was the flagpole Snakebite was trying to thwart. Now has to chase the flag carrier for Evil Geniuses. Decides, nope, can't go that way, already tagged up, and for now, Evil Geniuses have managed to put a lot of distance on that flag. This could be the first flag of the game. It is Snipe Down, but he will fall so close to getting that flag in.
Not only sniped out, but huge play by Roy, getting the double kill, almost the triple. This could almost certainly secure the flag cap for Evil Geniuses, and Roy with a great thruster play.
Had to just reload, gets out with his life. That is huge, and it's worth mentioning Evil Geniuses capped the first flag of the game, 1-0 up. Roy going huge for Evil Geniuses.
Roy just holding off 3 different members of CLG right there. It's one of those things where you almost have to sacrifice your life to help your team get away with that flag. The only thing I can relate to in some cases is when you're watching one of those zombie movies, there's always that one person who stays behind, like, you all go on without me, I'll hold them off. And that's exactly what Roy did. He gave up his life for the flag cap and the greater good.
Well, as you said, it was the greater good. Evil Geniuses find themselves 1-0, but careful though, CLG going for a flagpole of their own. It was Snakebite who managed to get it out, but the slaying power from Evil Geniuses able to get 3 players down. That flag should be returned as well, relatively uncontested, and the game for now at least stays 1-0, Evil Geniuses.
Yes, and Lunchbox was just taken down with a sniper rifle. I want to see what Snipe Down opts to do here. If he is going to try to go for a flagpole or go back for that power weapon, which he is so well known for. And it looks like he's opting to let one of his teammates get the weapon. And look at those perfect shots. Cross path on Frosty. Now he's up against
he's just not missing.
Another double kill. Do not make this guy mad, because look at what happens.
You called it perfectly, Walsh. I think Lethal maybe regretting some of those harsh words in that pre-game interview. Snipe Down definitely having a fantastic start to game 1 here in the gold medal matchup. Over to Roy now, of course, who made that clutch play, buying his team so much time to keep that first flag.
That was a rare mistake by Roy right there. 3 members of Evil Geniuses was down, and Roy decided to grab the flag, which I think was a big mistake. Like I said, none of these players are perfect, but we very rarely see Roy make a mistake like that by pulling flag preemptively.
Unfortunately, 2 more players from Evil Geniuses do go down. The flag is being pulled once again over to Royal 2 now, who does have that sniper rifle in hand. Checks over towards Rockets, will spot the first player, misses though, and has to dodge that rocket as well. Now, time really ticking against him. The flag directly underneath him. I don't think he's really going to be able to touch it, and honestly, you don't really want to run after that flag when you do have that sniper rifle, but Lethal putting down a lot of support. Firing! Oh, Royal 2, you sneaky beaver, coming behind commonly, but unfortunately will be traded.
It does not seem like he was able to make as much use of that sniper as we've seen him use in the past. I mean, that is 3 members down for CLG, and it just seems like they're on the back foot. This is the complete opposite that we saw last time they played Coliseum CTF. One thing that I'm taking away was the interview with Snipe Down earlier, where he said, guess what, we get to play a game type that we played earlier. Lethal taken down. Who was that took him down?
That was Snipe Down, ironically. Snipe Down going to let Lethal know a little bit about that one. That little trash talk maybe costing Lethal right now.
But yeah, when we saw this in pool play yesterday, CLG were just the aggressors. They were always on the Evil Genius side of the map, and now we see Counter Logic Gaming struggle to even get out of their base.
And it's not even necessarily just when they played against each other. CLG throughout the X Games in CTF have just been ruthlessly aggressive. They've pushed the opposition spawn, and they've really made the opposite team play from the back foot. For once, in the tournament, we're seeing Evil Geniuses do exactly that to CLG, and CLG, for now, don't have an answer.
Now, I like this play by Snakebite. He's playing very smart by not just going directly back to his base, because he realizes that's a very risky play. Of course, you want to clear members out of your base, but he realizes that he can stay up on Snipe Bridge, lay some shots across map, and eventually kind of stop this flag cap.
Snakebite will have to go big here for the squad. Picks up the first assist, gets the perfect on Lunchbox, and if there was a time to get a perfect, it was right there. Luckily, Lethal able to get the return as well. New sniper rifle coming up shortly. Unfortunately, Snakebite will fall over to Frosty now as he makes his way over towards that snipe side. It's going to be up in 14 seconds. CLG trying to get that set up.
Yes, and Frosty just trying to pay attention to both these power weapons. At the 6-minute mark, not only are rockets up, but also the sniper. For those new to the game, these 2 weapons spawn at different times. Rockets come up every 2 minutes, and sniper comes up every 3 minutes. And some perfect shots by Frosty for the perfect kill.
And that's exactly what you want to see if you're a CLG fan. As he makes his way over towards that flag, he's going to pull it away. Just barely gets away with his life. Has to expect Snipe Down to chase, but Snipe Down more than happy to let that one go. Of course, he has played for Rockets. He's shut down Lethal already with those Rockets. So Frosty backtracking now with the BR. Looks down below. There will be Snipe Down. Manages to dodge another Rocket. Should be able to pick up this kill, but no! Snipe Down shuts him down with the Rocket. And Frosty's face really tells you that story there. Very, very surprised.
And looks like Lethal is going to be able to put in this first flag for CLG. We are now at a tie game, 1-1.
Over to Lunchbox right now, as he has the DMR out, pushing over towards that cave. could potentially go for this flagpole if he wants, but he's going to need to try and slay out Frosty first. Able to pick up that first kill. Snakebite trades the kill with Lunchbox, however. Over to Roy now, trying to get up towards top sniper. He drops, snipe down. He's up top sniper, pushing over towards this left-hand side. Will have that gunfight with Snakebite. Nice use of the thrust, but snipe down just too accurate, Walsh.
Yes, and he saw what weapon Snakebite had right there, and he says, hey, that weapon's in my name. Give that back right over here. And we've seen Snipe Down so many times over in the cave. It seems like one of EG's strategies, which a lot of other teams implement, is holding that cave and blocking fountain spawns. And some near-perfect shots by Snipe Down. And despite having the most powerful weapon on the game, right, or on the map right now, he's running the flag. And I like this route. He's very covered through these splitting grenades.
And that is just a fantastic flag route there from Snipe Down. And more importantly, it just shows his confidence there that he could capture this flag. As we kind of mentioned previously in the tournament, running a flag with sniper rifle, being overly aggressive with sniper rifle is never really beneficial, but Snipe Down just with a perfect flag cap.
And look at this. He is just trying to get some cross-map help to try to get control of this snipe bridge. He realized that there's some threats on cave and takes off Frosty's face.
Hey, he has snipe in his name. That's all I'm going to say about that. You don't want to be running a Snipe Down. An angry Snipe Down with a sniper rifle. It's just not going to end well. For now, Evil Genius is 2-1 in the lead. And it looks like Roy, with that flag, could potentially be trying to send CLG home. Scatter shot. Nope, not going to be able to pick up that kill. So for
that was
now,
a great
still
play
alive.
by Roy running that flag. I thought that they were completely on defensive, but it seemed like Roy was trying to take advantage of all the members of... Wow.
Hello. That's what we're talking about. Snipe Down with sniper rifle, man. That's Rec Pack worthy right there, guys. You better be trying to redeem that Halo 5 gold Rec Pack. That was a nasty, nasty shot from Snipe Down over to Commonly. You can just see him and Snipe Down working together now, but unfortunately Commonly's going to eat a couple of grenades. Of course, new sniper rifle will be coming up in 28 seconds. Frosty runs at Snipe Down, though, and CLG, for now, gets some control over that sniper side, but big defensive play from Roy. Picks up one, somehow stays alive, does so much of a good job there just to act as a distraction, but in goes Frosty once again, a double kill for him.
The damage has been done, though. Seems like CLG are running this flag straight down the bottom middle, and I don't know if anyone's in position to stop this. It's interesting seeing this these differences in flag routes, because we know CLG and Frosty tend to toss the flag down bottom center and then run it through fountain.
Walshy, it's a tied game with less than 3 minutes to go. Next flag cap will win. Of course, if it does stay at 2-2, by the end of the time, we will go to an overtime situation. And it just seems fitting that game one really is this close, Walshy.
Yes, and it just seemed like
Oh,
EG started off so
Frosty.
strong, and what a double kill by Frosty. Also acquiring the sniper because of that. 35 seconds for rockets. I would not be surprised to see CLG just slow this down, see if they get a couple slays, get those rockets, and move in through bridge.
Frosty trying to connect with that snipe, misses twice. He's going to get challenged up top. It's going to be Snipe Down. Snipe Down may actually decide to chase, but Frosty botched that first grenade. Has to now just drop down. Easy pick for him as he actually picks up the assist at Royal 2 with a kill. Commonly will fall as well to Frosty. Another perfect kill for him. His accuracy on point, and this is where Frosty could really be very useful for his team because he's just going ham right now with the sniper rifle and the BR combination, but more importantly, he can cover new rockets with that sniper rifle.
Yep, and that's exactly what they're doing. It looks like his teammate Lethal is over at top rockets and ready to grab those. They will push these rockets in through bridge most likely because it is the safest spot when you have control of the middle of the map.
Frosty once again managed to get the body shot. We'll switch to the BR. Roy, who tried rushing, will fall instantly. Frosty just doing such a good job now of forcing the resources to be focused in on him. Now over to Lethal, who, as you mentioned, Walshy, does have rockets. Look at that time, though. It is ticking. 1 minute 37 still to go. Lethal picks up lump chucks as well. Snakebite has shut down Snipe Down. 2 players down for Evil Geniuses, and we may see CLG start to push up once again. Frosty cleans out Roy as well. Honestly, Evil Geniuses could be in some trouble.
Yes, they are in such an ideal position right now, especially with Lethal on top of them with rockets. That was almost a double kill. Lethal taking the CLG flag route of running it right down the middle. Instead, he's opting to go to rocket side. I'm not sure if this is the correct play.
Not going to be able to get that flag away, but in fact, his teammate does have it. It's going to be Snakebite. Snakebite so close to being able to cap this. I don't think anyone from Evil Genius is actually around there, but Snakebite's going to give him credit anyway. Picks up the flag and will capture it. CLG go 1-0 up in the best of 7 gold medal matchup.
And they made quite the comeback. It just seems like the longer the game goes, we've said this before, the more in favor it is for CLG. They like those slow-paced games or those longer games because for some reason it just seems like the longer it goes, they outslay more. And now let's take a look at the stat screen. Did they actually outslay heavily?
Yes. Maybe not necessarily heavily, but Royal 2, 25 kills, Frosty 22, Snakebite 16, Lethal 21. Over on EG, had Snipe Down with 24 kills, Lunchbox with 15, 25 coming in from Roy and Commonly with 17. And I mean, that you just kind of
it wasn't heavily favored either side for slaying. It just seemed like CLG did just a great job, always run that flag right down bridge, where it seemed like Evil Geniuses always opted to try to run towards Fountain and then go through either splinter grenades or sometimes I guess they'd go through bridge, but still end up through snipe side.
And the impressive thing as well was at the start of the game, we saw Evil Geniuses really applying a lot of pressure onto CLG. But then by the end of the game, you've got to see that CLG that we've been used to here at the X Games when it comes to CTF. They just flipped the game on its head, and they took it straight to Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, I liked EG's aggression on the flag there, but one of the problems I felt was as soon as they had a few members die over at the CLG flag, they seemed to just give up their last one or two members. Like Roy kind of pulled that flag one time. Same with, I believe, a snipe down a second time. It just seems like they committed saying, whether or not we get the kills, we're still going to go for this flagpole, when you know EG is more disciplined than that. Give me a little breakdown, though, of this rest of the series layout.
So, of course, Coliseum CTF goes to CLG. It is a best of 7. First to 4 maps will win. Coming up next, we go to Truth Slayer, followed by the Rig Strongholds, Fathom CTF, Eden Slayer, Plaza Strongholds, and Regret Slayer if it goes the distance. But talking about Truth Slayer now, Walsh, who does this favor? Because, again, I feel like that slow, long, drawn-out game is definitely in favor of CLG. But if Evil Geniuses come out the gate strong, they could definitely get an early lead.
CLG are going to be able to slow this game down. It's going to be really tough unless everything goes in Evil Geniuses' favor for them to just get spawn slay after spawn slay. CLG are disciplined enough to just start slowing it down, start crouching in corners and buy time for the teammates. So I feel like CLG are favored because they also won this game type yesterday. What also needs to be said, though, is last time they played Coliseum CTF, they beat Evil Geniuses 3-0. This time it was a 3-2.
Definitely closer, of course. Before we jump into map number 2, though, we have something very, very exciting for you guys. It's a world-exclusive preview. You're going to love it. Check it out. That looked kind of familiar to me, Walsh.
I don't know. I have no idea who that might be.
No, I'm sure a couple of eager-eyed people out there may have recognized exactly what that trailer was all about. But back over to our gold medal matchup here at X Games Aspen. As it stands, CLG 1-0 up. Evil Geniuses did have a lot more control in that map than we saw when they previously met. It seemed when they previously met in the group stages, Evil Geniuses just couldn't hang on to CLG's aggression. That was a much better display from EG, but you have to ask the question, they're still going to be very annoyed being 1-0 down. How much of an effect does Towie now have on this squad?
Towie, has been picking up on small little errors that Evil Geniuses have made throughout this weekend, including their match against CLG yesterday. So what he's going to say is, all right, last time on Truth Lair, we saw that CLG always had a member at Pink watching the angles towards Carbine, and they always had someone in Window watching this angle at Carbine, so always be aware of that. So he's going to try to eliminate all those small little deaths that EG had last match, and it could be the difference maker here today.
Of course, Towie, the coach for Evil Geniuses, the 5th man as he has been dubbed, he does a fantastic job of coaching that squad, and excited as map number 2 now actually loading up as we go over to Slayer Truth. Who are you kicking things off on board with?
We're kicking things off with Lethal, the man who's backed up his talk so far because they are up 1-0 in this series against EG. Let's see what he can do to get control of Pink Tower right now.
Well, this is his pretty much standard opening strat. As he goes over towards Pink Tower, now can actually backtrack over towards Camo. He's not going to be able to get that. Sadly, Slamdown was able to pick up 2 kills, though. So early on in the game, Evil Geniuses with the lead. This is what I wanted to see from them.
I'm pretty sure, did Lethal actually grab it?
Yeah,
okay.
I think it was
so
burned.
by burned, we mean Lethal grabbed the camo right before he got killed. So that means that no one's going to be able to get that camo, and it'll spawn 2 minutes after he picked it up.
Worth mentioning, commonly right now does have that energy sword, and he is running havoc with it. As I say that, though, Lethal does shut him down. See that in the kill feed. Evil Geniuses starting off strong here in the Slayer game. Of course, Slayer, first to 50 kills will win. But you can expect as we get closer towards the end or closer towards that number, that golden number of 50, gameplay definitely slows down.
Yeah, it's interesting how people play it from the beginning of the game compared to the end because they realize, like, early on, it's like, all right, you know what, we still got 43 deaths to go and some great shots by Roy right there before taking down. But that is 3 members down for EG. They are all in the spawn, stuck in red bubble.
Now, Walsh, talk to me a little bit about the strategies you're expecting to see Evil Geniuses go at on this map.
I guess I don't fully know exactly what EG strategies are for this one, but in general, there are two main strategies that teams follow here on True Slayer. One being they try to hold three quadrants of the map and spawn them either at blue base or red base and go for the spawn kills there, or the other being that they hold the other 3 bases, which I mean are red base, blue base, and pink, and they try to spawn them over at Carbine. I know it sounds like I'm playing a game of Simon Says right there by just repeating all these colors, but
so many colors,
yes,
it's like a rainbow.
In the end, most teams are holding 3/4 of the map in an ideal setup.
And on board now with Snipe Down, actually, is he just picked up that perfect on Snakebite. And considering Evil Geniuses, 1-0 down in the series, currently leading map number 2, 13-12, I want to go to a listen-in with EG.
I'm getting an angle. I'm getting an angle now.
Camo 44.
Air top dinner. I'm looking. He's still there. One shot. I got it. I got it.
Nice shot, Jason.
Red 2, Eric. I'm moving.
Camo's up. Camo is up.
Stay alive. He's
Eric,
down
we
here.
have two dead.
After the window. I got it.
All right, Camo's still up.
I'm looking. I got it.
One
We have perfect setup. I'm going in. They're pushing pink. They're all pushing pink. I'm in blue bubble. I need help. One hit. Blue bubble. Jason, hi, Jason. Blue window, one shot. Lethal. I got it.
Slow down. Camo still has Camo.
One, 3 guys, one shot.
You guys are all
really
after each other. Spread out.
Under blue. Card 3 really weak, guys. Card 3 really weak.
Snake bites under blue.
Snake bites under blue.
One foot spawn. We got him. One just spawn. Eric, one just spawn.
I'm living at red.
Eric, I'm with you.
I'm living at red.
Yes.
I'm with you. Guys, they're all here. In my base peak. There's 2 guys here.
Run, Justin.
One shot under my base.
One top center.
One shot under my base.
Nice, Justin.
I can't.
I got him. Caradic is not dead. Caradic. Royal Peak Caradic.
I'm looking.
I got him. Nice, Jason. Get to pink too.
I'm going pink.
Someone say window.
They're already going pink. I need help.
Are they already there?
Yes, back up. I am. I'm living.
Hand me and
Car 1. I'm watching pink 1. I got him. They're pink 1. They're pink 1. Pink 2, Jason. I'm living. I'm pushing to pink. There's at least 2 in pink. One shot, pink 2. Go. One shot. One shot, take dead. I need help. I died to him. Live. Stay alive. Jason, top center.
Card 2 top center right now.
Top center weak. I'm going to card 3. I'm going to go top center weak. Nice, Jason. Live.
Everybody got him.
Me too. I need help.
We have one.
Eric, I'm coming.
Slow down.
I need help. I got him. He's one shot after me too.
Evil Geniuses are passing the halfway mark now here in the Slayer, 28-18. They have a 10-kill lead. Walsh, talk to me. What just happened in that past couple of minutes? It was a close game before we went into the listening. We come out, and all of a sudden, EG are dominating.
So many coordinated pushes, and now EG has that ideal setup where they have 3 quadrants of the map. Great shots by Lunchbox. But whole point being is they have pink side, car side, and they're letting CLG spawn in just 1/4 of the map.
Exactly as you were mentioning before, they have perfect control of this map. They know exactly where CLG is spawning because they're forcing them to spawn where they want. You saw fantastic rotations come out from Roy earlier on. Now, Frosty, though, able to pick up a kill on Snipe Down. Commonly, though, immediately replies with a pick of his own on Lethal. Lunchbox still just trying to put down some shots. The lead is just getting bigger, Walshy. This is not looking good if you're a CLG fan.
And look at how long this member has stayed alive, bottom pink. That is a frustrating charge that Lunchbox made right there, and those are the kind of mistakes that these top players force opponents to make.
Snakebite able to shut down, Snipe Down. CLG now stringing together a couple of kills, and you're seeing the big lead that Evil Geniuses managed to develop slowly be chipped away at by CLG.
Still a 12-kill lead. But the whole point being is EG are in great shape as long as they don't get confined to just one portion of the map. So right now you see Roy was over at Carbine side. His teammates Commonly and Snipe Down were over at Pink side. As long as they stay separated, they should at least be able to go kill for kill.
37-26. Plenty of time still to go. Commonly putting some shots down cross map. Would that be up? But 2 players immediately recognize that Commonly could be isolated by himself, and Commonly now in a horrible situation. If he can at least pick up 1 kill, that'd be massive, but somehow manages to force them away. And for now, Commonly gets away with his life.
Yes, and just doing such a great job, doing so much damage across the map and staying alive. And that's one thing you noticed happened so much during their communication.
Commonly.
It was never like, hey guys, challenge this fight or get that kill. It's stay alive, buy time, I have your help. That's the coordination that these top teams have.
Commonly really starting to heat up a little bit here. 43-28 now, and CLG are being completely outclassed in game 2 of our gold medal matchup. Of course, they were able to take map 1, but map 2 is a completely different story, Walshy. Evil Geniuses have just kind of shifted into a completely different gear. This seems like a different team.
This is a different team from yesterday, absolutely, because they played these exact same game types against CLG. Coliseum CTF, they lost 3-0. This time they brought at least a little bit closer to a 3-2. Last time, they lost this Truth Team Slayer. I don't remember exactly what the score was, but the whole point being is it looks like EG are primed to win this game. We're going to stick with Snipe Down through this respawn and see what we can do to close this game out.
They only need 5 kills to take the second map. Of course, CLG still trailing 10. Roy shuts down Royal 2. Snipe Down has Frosty completely pinned inside red base. And he decides he wants to back away, recognizing Lethal could be putting some damage down over towards his teammates. And you see that's a perfect example right there of just fantastic Halo.
Yep, just so much cross damage. And right here, helps at least get the trade. Those trades are going to go in the favor of EG because they have more kills to give up. We'll jump on with Royal 2 and see if they're able to board up some sort of defense, but I think this is too little too late. It's going to be a 1-1 series.
This would be a phenomenal comeback. I think everyone in here in Aspen would lose their minds if they were to make it. And Frosty is able to pick up 2, but just as we say that, the kill comes in. It's defeat for CLG. EG show life as they tie up the series 1-1.
And Snipe Down with some big numbers there. We'll pull up the stat screen in just a second. But he not only had 14 kills, which was the most on the EG squad, he also had the most assists. And that should be no surprise after watching his POV and seeing all the shots he was laying across the map.
I want to point out as well, not only did he have so many kills, he also had the highest accuracy in the game as well, at 57.6. So Snipe Down showing you exactly why you don't annoy Snipe Down in a pre-game interview.
I wish we could go to a post-game listening with CLG and like, come on, Lethal, why'd you have to say that to Snipe Down? Why'd you have to do that, man?
You just don't rattle the cage, man. You just don't rattle the cage. But the series now tied at 1-1. And I guess the question on a lot of the newer viewers' minds right now, Walshy, will be, what is the big difference between yesterday and today? Why are we seeing such a drastic change in Evil Genius's playstyle, or at least the results?
I can't speak for their playstyle, but to me, it just seems like CLG, or I should actually say Evil Geniuses, are playing with no fear this time.
Okay.
Last time, they weren't playing to win. They weren't pushing up for a flag cap. They weren't pushing up and taking over Pink Side Tower. It just seemed like they're playing passive. The best way I've ever heard described is they weren't playing to win. They were playing to not lose.
A lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Let's take a look at the series, though, as it currently stands. We know it's tied 1-1. Just to recap, CLG took that Coliseum CTF 3 flags to 2. Evil Geniuses then win Truth Slayer 50-39. Up next, though, it's the Rig Strongholds. Strongholds, a fantastic game type, in addition to Halo 5.
Yes. Last time I've seen these teams match up on Rig, I believe we saw a Rig Slayer in the North American Online Ladder where Evil Geniuses fell 50-39 to CLG, where they ended up winning, like I said, that first ladder as a new squad. Strongholds, however, it's a completely different game type, and both these squads know how to play it. We saw earlier when we saw a squad like CLG play against Renegades, that seems like CLG were doing a great job when they had a full set by pushing towards Whitehall, pushing towards Snipe Spawn, and just pressing their advantage enough. Whereas when a squad like Renegades had full setup, they pushed way too far and forced the spawns outside. So for those new to this map and game type, the dominant location is holding outside because you can watch 2 different strongholds. You can watch the basement and the nest.
Yes.
And for also new viewers, can you explain how strongholds work?
So, strongholds, very, very simple. First 100 points will win. You get points by controlling stronghold locations. There's 3 stronghold locations on the map, but to score points, Walsh, you need at least 2 of those strongholds, and that's where that kind of setup that you were talking about really does come in handy. Basement and nest, that's the preferred location that you want to see a team set up with. Those 2 strongholds is key to success on this map, and you'll hear me and Walshy talk a lot about that as the game kicks off.
Yes, and in an equally matched up lineup here, like we have EG versus CLG, we are rarely going to see triple caps. It will happen from time to time,
maybe for
5 to 10 seconds at the very most. And that's why these squads are going to be more focused on getting that full setup outside. Here on your map is the Rig. You see catwalks outside. Here's the inside where Railgun spawns up in the nest, and lastly, there's the bunker where you do not want to spawn.
Yes, you do not want to be getting BR base at all. That's the one interesting stronghold that you may see teams actually that don't have control of BR base choose not to cap BR base, just completely rotate all the way around the other side. But kicking things off in map number 3 of our gold medal matchup on board with Lunchbox. No surprise, him and Commonly both making their way over towards Nest. An early capture here would be big for them, but you have to now expect, having not seen anyone from CLG over at Nest, that they may just rush basement.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks like CLG opted to go towards elbow and take that railgun. As you see, 2 X's on Lunchbox's screen. He has to stay alive here because if he does not win this fight, the CLG members could be spawning outside. That spells bad news for Evil Geniuses.
And that was really smart play coming in from Frosty there, who had that railgun, recognizing to put himself in a good position where he could help capture that basement. Basement finally goes in. They have BR basement. We talked about trip caps. Well, there you go. That was the 1 second of trip cap that you can potentially expect to see between these two teams. Immediately, Evil Geniuses respond. They get BR base back, and for now, CLG have that preferred setup. Walshy, they have basement, they have nest, and you see Royal 2 with camo defend basement.
Yes, he did. He made great use of those 40 seconds of invisibility. You know that his squad of Counter Logic Gaming are going to be on top of that next camo, which spawns 2 minutes after you originally picked it up.
Nice play from Royal 2 with that scatter shot. Picks up Roy, makes his way over towards Nest, where Lunchbox will be completely pinned. He can basically run at him with scatter shot. Instead, just opts to throw out those grenades. You see Snakebite actually was the one who picked up that kill, but you have to reset those strongholds. That's exactly what he was playing.
Now Lethal and Frosty, the two members left for the CLG squad outside.
Oh,
and as long as they go trade for kills, and Lethal with amazing shots taking down Lunchbox. Going to secure outside, and CLG looking good.
And what a way to come back from what we just saw in Game 2. For now, it's 20 points to 0. Evil Genius is yet to get their first point on the board here in Game 3.
And here's the time that you see CLG pressing their advantage. They have control of outside, but guess what? They're going to make EG fight to even get control of that tower. That's just what CLG does. They make you fight for every inch of ground.
And it's really important to notice the way that CLG do that. They don't push too far. By pushing too far, they could potentially flip the spawn point, which Evil Geniuses will get over towards basement, which is exactly the opposite of what you want to achieve.
And you got to wonder, did CLG push up too far? Because two members down in basement, and it now looks like Lethal has this fight in his hands.
Lethal.
I guess Snipe down, Fetzy taking him down. But whole point being is it looks like EG almost flipped the spawns as they take this basement stronghold.
They may have been able to just do that, but Lethal's still going big. That's a killing spree for him, and he is recapturing basement. He's obviously giving the 2-to-1 stronghold advantage back to CLG, but he falls. So for now, basement stays under Evil Genius's control, and as soon as EG get basement, you see them start to flood over towards Nest. Of course, the one stronghold they no longer have advantage of. Lunchbox with camo and Railgun not able to make that count, but did manage to pick up the headshot with the pistol.
Yes, and the whole important part is he actually stayed alive. Not doing very good job of executing with this railgun though. That's the second one he's missed, and that's not what you want to see in the finals here at Aspen for an X Games gold medal.
Finally able to shut down Lethal, and there's the second on Royal 2. That's the double kill. I think he may have just heard you, Walsh. He immediately turns up with that railgun as he now makes his way back over towards basement. Expect to see this recaptured. This, again, could be a triple cap for Evil Geniuses. CLG had such a big lead, but it's being completely obliterated. Lunchbox is starting to put the team on his back as he strings together back-to-back kills. Now still alive with scatter shot. Teammates picking up so many kills.
Just look at the kill feed. That kill feed was all EG members taking down CLG members. Lethal, the only member alive, trying to stop this triple cap, and he's even struggling with that.
And you finally see the trip cap stop, but it's BR base. If you remember the one stronghold that really isn't that beneficial to really hold, as Frosty tries to, Lethal tries to overextend and rotate out towards basement, put CLG on the aggressive front, but unfortunately not able to do so. Evil Genius is just doing so well in the slaying department. They now actually have the lead, Walsh, by 10 points, 43 to 33.
Now here's the importance of holding those outside setup, because even though 3 members of Evil Geniuses died, they are still in control because they all spawned outside the carbine area. All the members of CLG had to push from the inside. So watch Comedy through the spawn and check out where he spawns. Looks like CLG flipped the spawns and they're in a dominant position. So even though Evil Geniuses have 2 of the strongholds at this moment, expect that to flip, and expect the score to go in favor of CLG.
Uncommonly immediately plays for camo. Now may actually decide to rush over towards basement. Will not be able to pick up that kill. Luckily though, Snipe down in position to trade. He falls as well. Over to Lunchbox, who does have that new railgun, making his way over towards basement. Missed point blank range, troublesome, somehow still alive. Finally though, Royal 2 does shut him down. And for now, it's CLG who have the trip cap as they start to reduce that deficit, 46 to 51. And Evil Geniuses, they need a base and they have to go ahead and cap BR base.
And that's exactly what I was saying about 30 seconds ago. Even though Evil Genius had 2 of the capture points at that moment, that does not mean anything. It's all about position. Sure, you can close out the last few seconds, maybe if you're at the 97 mark. However, this game is for the long run. You cannot expect to hold BR base and Nest for a very long period of time. I want to hear how this CLG squad came back into this game and go to a listening with Counter Logic Gaming.
One railgun bullet.
He's basement
With one railgun bullet, snipe down.
He's looking for me.
He's on the box.
We're getting him.
Ground engine, top engine, dude. Top engine behind me.
Roy's weak barrels. Weak by barrels.
That's in top engine.
It's slow, bro.
I got him. TJ, stay alive, stay alive. They're taking us. 2 in us. They're looking at TJ.
Stay alive, TJ. They're gonna push you.
Yeah, one push me. And one shot top
I have
nest.
scatter shot.
Commonly still nest weak.
What are you pushing? Hold basement here. I'm gonna go top rail.
Yeah. I'm gonna pass. Underpass. Top nest still.
I'm in. Right corner. No shield. One barrels. Shield. Nice. We can cap this. One barrels.
You two get nest. They're
gonna push basement.
Yeah, no,
They're gonna push
stay
basement, man.
Alright.
Where's absolute? Dude,
Absolutely top behind us a nest.
I got a melee. Absolute top. I'm gonna push you guys
I'm
now.
gonna die, dude. I died. They're going for it.
They're top nest. Basement. You got raised.
Absolute nest.
Basement.
Basement. Got scattered.
Basement. Camera's at 43. There's no shield. Nice. Camera's at 43.
Top engine.
Top engine. So I'm dead. They're in basement. Camera's at 43.
Wait,
Slow this
hold
down.
on.
Camera's coming up right now.
No show Matt.
When we spawn, let's get this camera.
Stop basement. Try to stop basement. You got rail. Fuck.
It's
Spawn
fine
here as well.
Camera's up.
Dropping it. Got railgun.
Where's that? Camera's up right now.
Nice
Camera
reset.
should be up.
It's up.
Nest. Two nests. I'm going for it. Two nests. They know you're there.
Alright, burn it.
I burn it. Alright, we just gotta make a good push. That's all we gotta do. They're in basement now. TJ's trying to stop in basement. There's two.
One shot.
Evil Genius is completely turning this game on its head. They now have the lead, 76-61. They have a trip cap as well. Frosty for CLG trying to go big on basement. Does pick up the first kill. Has to recognize more players from EG are over there. That's Lunchbox. That's the overkill for Frosty. An unbelievable play right there from him.
And that should guarantee CLG a full sort of setup here. However, for some reason, Roy somehow got a double kill. I'm not sure how this CLG squad didn't keep control of outside. Frosty had an overkill.
Yeah, just to clarify, overkill, all 4 players on the other team being killed by one individual. So you would expect to see CLG immediately get some control of the map, but they weren't able to do so. For now that they do have that 2-1 stronghold advantage, however, Nest is being taken away from them. And unfortunately for them, they are controlling BR base, not basement. And that's why exactly Snakebite is going to overextend down this right-hand side and try and loop all the way around behind Evil Geniuses. But he needs to be careful. In fact, shuts down commonly. The second play is going to charge, and Roy cleans up Snakebite.
One thing I want to point out is during that listen-in, you kept hearing these players talk about basement and nest. You never heard them say, let's go get BR base, let's all push inside. It's all about these 2 outside strongholds.
Royal 2 with 1, throws the grenade. Frosty's going to clean that second, but they need to jump on the basement, and they need to do it quickly. They are capping it, but it's 97 points to Evil Geniuses, 98 points to Evil Geniuses. This one is going to go all the way down to the wire. Evil Geniuses reset it, and it doesn't matter. EG take game number 3 in the gold medal matchup to go 2-1 up in the series.
And what a performance by EG. Playing it calm at the beginning when they're down by quite a bit. They realized that in Strongholds, if you get a full setup, you can flip the game at any moment. Take a look at the stat screen and tell me what's going on, Benson.
I mean, you have Lunchbox with 19 kills, Roy with 17. A phenomenal slaying performance from EG. Over at CLG side, Frosty had 17 kills, Royal 2 with 15, but besides that, not really much else going on. But again, you have to assess that play. Frosty gets an overkill, and they're not able to get control of the game because Roy picks up a huge double kill.
Yeah,
you have to give Roy so much props for that, because if he doesn't pick up that double kill, that game could have gone completely the opposite way.
And I don't even know how he got in that double kill, because that kill spree just lasted so long. Roy might have spawned elbow or something along those lines. The whole point being is that last game, CLG only got outplayed by 5 kills, and they lost by close to 36 points. That's a pretty significant margin per kill.
100 to 66.
34 points, but yes.
Evil Genius is 2-1 up in the series. Next map will be a Fathom CTF, and this is where it gets interesting for me, because so far, when we've seen CLG and EG play, CLG really never had to play off the back foot. Now EG is up 2-1, and EG chant erupts in Aspen as well. I mean, how does CLG recover from map number 2?
I mean, I don't feel like they have as many veteran players as the EG squad, but both squads went into this match knowing it's a best of 7. You spoke to Snakebite and you spoke to Lethal earlier saying how sweet would it be to sweep this event and not drop a single game. However, that's not what's on their mind. They need to take it game by game, and they realize against a squad like EG, it's a rare thing to have a sweep. So they need to be able to accept a couple losses here and there and bounce back, especially when they get to stronger game types. I believe the last time they played Fathom Capture the Flag against EG, or maybe I'm thinking of the Renegades match. I can't remember. My memory's getting kind of bad as an old man here. But for some reason, I felt like they played a Fathom CTF before, and I thought it went in favor of CLG.
May have done. I think you may be right there, Walshy. But of course, you guys watching at home can vote on social media for who you think will win this gold medal matchup. What you can do is tweet at Halo with hashtag HaloWC, and then the team you wish to win, either hashtag CLG or hashtag EG. Relatively simple hashtags.
Yes, and it looks like the polls right now are 76% in favor of Evil Geniuses, A lot of fans out there love these rivalry stories.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better grand final here at the X Games. It's the storyline which everyone was talking about, and I'm happy that it finally, I can't express, I'm just so happy that this is the final.
It would have
that
been a
we get to
huge
watch.
disappointment if the only time they met up was in pool play and
Right.
CLG just had a swift 3-0.
It doesn't do it justice. It doesn't do the rivalry justice. They had to be for X Games gold. It's the only way, of course, that this one was going to play out. But heading over to Fathom as our game 4, CLG trail in the gold medal matchup 2-1 to Evil Geniuses, despite, as you mentioned, the 3-0 sweep in group stages. But with map 4 getting ready and almost underway, who are we starting on board with?
Well, we've given a lot of the spotlight to some of these older veterans such as Lunchbox, Roy, and Snipedown. Let's jump on with their newest pickup, Commonly, and see what he does at the start of Fathom Capture the Flag.
With so much pressure on Commonly coming in to X Games, had to perform well, and so far has done extremely good job of picking up big performances. He actually picks up the kill there on Royal too, who did have camo. Meanwhile, Roy already made his way top mid and controlled Railgun. Should be able to find this pick on Frosty, but Frosty just turns around, having absolutely none of it. Puts some shots down into Roy, and Roy forced for now to back away.
I love that Commonly challenge on Camo. He just used a high risk versus reward assessment judgment there and realized, guess what? If I win this fight, they don't have Camo. If I lose it, whatever. It's a well worth the risk, because if he's able to take away that power from that player in that one-on-one situation, it's a huge win for Evil Geniuses.
Flag already away, I believe. And we'll see if Evil Geniuses are going to be able to return that. That was CLG being aggressive, pulling the flag, and CLG on this map specifically are extremely fast-paced.
CLG was pulling that flag as bait, and EG did not take it because 3 members of EG were still up, and they weren't just going to dive on that flag. Instead, they played calm, they held their positions top center, and just waited it out.
Roy tried to go for the counter pull, however, Snipedown is able to get that flag return, so can back away now, just regroup as a squad, get that map control, and then try and push over towards that CLG base. Lethal should be dead for rights. Snipedown able to clean him up. Unfortunately, played to his right-hand side. Snipedown doing a good job of just buying some time for some teammates to put down some damage.
And not just buying time, look at what Snipedown does. He doesn't try to just throw a grenade or go for some random backsmack. He's doing as much damage as he can, realizing that most likely will be cleared up by one of his teammates. That's what all these members of Evil Geniuses do. They buy opportunities for their team.
Now still 0-0 in the CTF. Flag is away though. We'll see if Evil Genius can stop this. Lethal picks up a big double kill. Snipedown trying to find the angle on that flag carry. He will be up top, and this is where Snipedown's left with that difficult decision. Does he go for the counter pull? Does he go for the kill? He went for the counter pull. Smart, but unfortunately Royal 2 read it like a book and was able to pick up that kill. Now Snakebite should be good to run this flag home if his teammate's able to get the return, but he's not. Roy goes big, picks up a kill, and keeps that flag alive for now.
Counter pull by Snipedown is what allowed this stalemate to potentially happen. It looks like CLG were still able to come ahead, but Snipedown once again gave an opportunity for EG to possibly turn into a stalemate.
Snakebite has to rush in towards bottom camo, desperately trying to figure out where did he go. He has absolutely no idea. Has to back away. Frosty Lunchbox hitting the jukes there with that camo, and he will just walk away with his life. And now actually spotting Snakebite should be able to clean up this kill. Juking left and right away from the Promethean grenades. Now can start to think about an aggressive push into CLG's base.
Yes, and it looks like Lunchbox made great use of that camo, getting away, buying some time, and he still has it. He's helping get control of this top area before he pushes into a flag, and I like this aggressive play by Lunchbox. He has the camo. He can move up undetected to potentially get this flag pull.
And he's going to shoot Royal 2 from behind. Not able to clean up the kill, though. Finally does connect with that headshot. Flag was pulled from CLG, and unfortunately EG just not able to get into CLG's base. Every time they get close, CLG able to just fend them off.
And right there we saw Lethal getting the better of Snipedown in that fight. That hasn't been the case in some earlier matches, but looks like Lethal is no one to be reckoned with. I mean, he is somebody who, he's not just going to back down. He backs up his trash talk in most cases. I've been trying to hype up Snipedown because it is true. He is one of those players that rises to the occasion when there's trash talk on the line. But as we know, Lethal is kind of one of those community trolls. He talks the talk and he walks the walk.
Yep, he really does. As Roy able to put down some damage. Lunchbox picks up the kill on Frosty. Roy peeks out, finds Royal 2. There will be one more player above him. That's going to be Snakebite. Snipedown may actually play for this return. Will do. And for now, both flags are back at base. 8 minutes remaining, though, in the CTF. Plenty of time, Walshy. And it is still 1-0 CLG as, unfortunately, Snipedown falls there. Lethal
trying
once
to
again.
jump on with Lethal and see if he was able to stay alive, but was eventually cleaned up by a different member of Evil Geniuses. Look at this CLG squad just constantly going towards the top center and trying to control this area. They realize that once you have top center, you get control of Railgun, and can at least get an idea of where the opponents are spawning. So what's going to happen is once you get top center, you look towards either silo or towards the flag, and depending on where they're at, you can decide which way to move into the flag. Let's take on with Snakebite through this respawn.
Commonly did just pick up camo. I believe that one was burnt though, as he almost instantly fell. Snakebite though forced to do a little bit of defensive duties now. Snipedown is pushing over towards him. Snakebite just gets away with his life, able to actually pick up the kill there on Snipedown. Drops a grenade, will do a little bit of damage there, but Snipedown able to shut down Snakebite.
Yes, and I can't tell if that was his original grenade he laid down, but as you can tell, Snakebite was just trying to run away and stay alive as long as possible, and that's what these players do. I think the misconception when amateurs try to look at pro players and just think, oh, they look at a montage and think they just get amazing plays nonstop. No, the majority of the time, these pro players are backing down, staying alive, and buying opportunities for their teammates. Snipe down, staying alive, run this flag towards silo, and we're gonna have to see if they can get their first cap to tie this game up.
Royal 2 was able to shut down Lunchbox, and Snipedown needs to be careful because he is being shot from behind as well, but has to put down some pressure and help his teammate out. Hits the melee, gets the assist, commonly shuts down Frosty. The flag can be pulled once again by Snipedown. He's so close to getting it in, but he's so very weak. Can he touch it or get it through the window? That's all he needs to do. Pass it across to Roy. Roy will get it. Tied game 1-1.
And we are almost at the 5-minute mark. These teams are neck and neck. We're going to have to see who can get this next railgun. I believe it should spawn in here in 18 seconds. I actually misspoke. It is the 6-minute mark. So that railgun, as we said, comes up, I believe it's every 2 minutes.
Yep, very, very soon. Roy putting a grenade down. It's up in 10 seconds. Looking still with Roy's perspective. Frosty trying to sneak behind him. Roy able to put a lot of damage down and also pick up that kill. Took Snakebite to shut down Roy eventually there. But as we said, game tied at 1-1. 6 minutes remaining in this game. It is getting very, very close between these two teams. Flag has been pulled. Can CLG try and get another flag cap in?
Yes, and Lethal trying to just cut off these spawns over here on silo side. Buy as much time for his team to run this flag in, but eventually taken down. Was it enough time? We'll find out here in a second.
Railgun at Frosty's hands. He needs to pick up this kill, and he's not going to be able to do so. EG managed to pick up 2 kills there, Commonly and Lunchbox both with 1, and Lunchbox now counterpulled the flag, and he may be able to actually put a lot of distance on this.
Yes, and I think a lot of players might be confused as why does Lunchbox just run the flag instead of staying back there and going for the flag recovery? In most cases, it's a safer play because you know where their opponents are at and escorting their flag. And if you run the flag the opposite route, you can at least turn into a stalemate, whereas you risk an all-or-nothing situation if you just try to go for that flag recovery. And it looks like Lunchbox's teammate Commonly almost got that flag return. Yes, he did. We are going to see a possible cap from Lunchbox to bring this game up to a 2-1 lead.
CLG tried to bait out the flag and maybe a little bit of a misplay there. They got 3 kills, but Lunchbox dives the flag in. 2-1 EG. And you have to ask, what was CLG doing? They baited the flag, they got the 3 kills, but they allowed the return to come in, and now EG had the lead.
Just a clutch play by Commonly that I missed. He did a great job of buying time, getting those kills. Most importantly, when Lunchbox was bringing that flag back, you notice how he just tossed it out there?
Yep.
Baited out members of CLG, and it allowed his teammates to get those kills. Whole point being is once you have the flag on your half of the map, your reinforcements are going to come faster because your spawns are closer. And that's what Lunchbox was manipulating there. He realized his teammates were going to spawn closer, and as long as they went slay for slay, they were going to get that capture.
Lunchbox may need to be careful here because CLG pushing in towards his base. He tries to get control of top mid, a nice shot. Shuts down Snakebite. Not falling for any of his movement mechanics. Over to Commonly. Railgun will be spawning in 3 seconds time. May have to opt to give this one up, but it does actually have the support of Roy, so if they want to, they could decide to go for that, but no, will back away. 2 kills in favor of CLG, so Commonly forced to backtrack.
Yeah, interesting play by Commonly. He was forced to concede that situation. Wow, nice shot by Commonly. Gained that double kill.
He needs to get the flag carrier, though. This is going to be the key.
He did his job. The whole point is he bought time, and that's all you do,
Commonly.
and he does get that 3rd kill, gets the flag recovery. And that's exactly what you need out of this newcomer. He was given an opportunity, and he took full advantage of it, getting those 3 kills and stopping the cap from CLG.
We asked how he was going to handle the pressure, and he answers right there. A big double kill, then kills the flag carrier and gets the return all in one. That could be the play, which gives Evil Geniuses this 4th map and puts them 3-1 up in this gold medal matchup. But for now, time is definitely of the essence for CLG. They have 3 minutes to try and get 1 flag to tie up this game.
And you gotta wonder, was that the right play by Roy? It seemed like he was just waiting around that corner for too long and was not successful. Right now, CLG have a flagpole. They have 2 members of EG down, and if they can get a couple more kills, this should surely be a cap.
This could be the moment that it all turns around. Royal 2 had that railgun, but unfortunately, forced to switch out to his BR4s, but it doesn't matter. Lethal has got that flag. Can he try and get it through the window? That's what he's going to have to do. Backtracks, though, pretty tagged up and weak, forcing Evil Geniuses to go for the play on their flag. Frosty, the young gun from CLG, now it's his time to shine. Lethal with 2 kills with the grenade. Can they get the flag cap? They need to return it. They should be good. Tied game 2-2. 2.5 minutes to go.
What a brilliant play by Lethal. He tossed the flag towards his front yard, backtracked towards Camo to try to get a distraction on the opposing on EG side of the map, and then came back again, got that double kill with a grenade, and put the flag cap in.
Next flag cap wins, and it's going to be Snipe Down pulling the flag for Evil Geniuses. Snakebite has to try and wrap around here and put a stop to this flag. Roy has been able to shut down Lethal, though, and this is where you're going to see Snakebite maybe get a little sneaky here, waiting patiently to find out exactly where that flag carrier is. Has he been juked out there? That's the question. Spins around. Can he find the kill on Commonly? No, he can't. Commonly cleans him up. That's going to leave the flag wide open for Evil Geniuses if they can take the advantage of this opportunity.
But we are in a stalemate. This game could not be any closer. Not only are these teams tied 2-2, but they each have the opposing flag on the opposite side of the map. I'll quick rotate through and show you that Lunchbox is over at his base, and we see Lethal, his former teammate, over at the CLG base.
It would be Lethal of all the players on CLG to have control of the flag. And Evil Geniuses' fate of winning this map, it would be him. A minute 22 still to go. A look at Frosty. The game pace and tempo has massively changed. It's gone from fast pace to almost static. Everybody waiting for the other team to make the mistake.
Frosty just trying to find exactly where this flag is at. He is the most dangerous man alive right now because he thinks that he's going to find Lunchbox. Remember where I originally showed Lunchbox hiding in that corner? Right now, Frosty just wasted so much time, and EG has had a 4-on-3 situation across the map. Now he's desperate, trying to finish off Commonly, and look at where Lunchbox relocated, towards top center.
That flag is wide out in the open. Frosty may be able to wrap back. He gets the distraction medal. Lethal was able to pick up 1. Frosty doing all the work, shuts down Snipe Down as well. The flag is so close to him right now. If he can pick up the kill on Commonly, maybe they can force the return. You see the players from CLG running towards that flag. It's 50% of the way return. Even Lethal, the flag carrier at this point, putting shots down. 33 seconds left in this game. It is in Frosty's hands. Can he do it? Snakebite picks up the kill. He jumps on the return. He's going to get it. Now the question, can Lethal run it home?
Yes, Lethal has this flag all the way back in their base. EG was fully focused on trying to get the recovery. What I originally thought was a mistake on Frosty's part was patience that paid off and ended in a flag recovery for CLG, giving them the win and giving them the series tie.
Unbelievable map number 4 right there. CLG and EG tied 2 maps apiece in the best of 7. Lethal coming out, answering Snipe Down's performance last game with 27 kills of his own, 14 assists, and 15 deaths. A massive performance from him.
Yep, most kills, least deaths. That's usually a sign that you're playing fairly well.
Yep, especially when you have 14 assists to go with it as well. Putting down so much damage on the map, but a huge, huge play from Frosty. Again, we saw Commonly make a massive, massive individual play, and then Frosty, again, being sneaky, just he somehow got so much time and patience.
So much patience for such a new player. That was surprising because you saw how patient he was just originally waiting on that porch with SMG, just saying, guess what? I heard lastly, Lunchbox was over here in this corner. If he can secure a one-on-one with Lunchbox, he can get that flag recovery on his own. Instead, he was forced to rotate all the way over towards the elbow of their base and was eventually able to get the kill and played it so patient too. I think most players in that situation would be like, flag's already 50% return, I should just run over there and jump, but he had trust in his CLG teammates that they would come over and help get that flag recovery.
As we said, series tied at 2 maps apiece in the best of 7. Eden Slayer up next, followed by a Plaza Strongholds. Then if we do get the all-wanted Game 7, Regret Slayer would be to close out. But as we said, Eden Slayer up next. I mean, talk to me a little bit about what you're expecting, Walsh. I mean, it's tied at 2-2. We've seen some crazy, crazy things so far. I mean, you look at some of those scorelines, pretty close, and then some pretty one-sided. Eden Slayer, though, all about power weapon control.
Well, in general, when we look at the series scores so far and how CLG has played, if you look at Coliseum CTF and Fathom CTF, those were both long games. Fathom went almost the entire game length. It was like the 11-minute and 53-second mark that they won the game. So whole point being is if this game goes a long period of time and CLG can slow it down, that has tended to favor them in the past.
Absolutely agree. But looking at the rest of the series as well, how do you see it pan out? I'm going to give you, obviously it's tied at 2-2. Who wins? Who walks away with gold, Walsh?
2-2.
Give me the Guru, Master Yoda, Walshy prediction.
Master Yoda, Walshy prediction would be...
It's a new thing.
Evil Geniuses take Game 5, Eden Slayer, 50-39.
I'm writing this down. If you get this right, we should give
They
it
will lose Strongholds on Plaza.
Oh, here we go.
I can't predict a score on Stronghold Plaza because sometimes that could be a stomp.
Fair enough.
Then
So we
game
go to
5
game 7.
on Regret. Unfortunately, we see a CLG victory, 50-42.
Okay, but you're predicting game 7 at this point. I feel like
game 7
it has
in favor
been
of
back and
CLG.
forth. It has been very, very back and forth in this series. Of course, there a look at the CLG booth and the players. I mean, in this situation, Walshy, in the grand final, you're halfway through the series. It's tied 2-2. What's the communication in that booth like right now? What are they talking about?
The entire time that they have been in match, they're just talking about what they're doing, how they're supporting each other, and staying alive. And a lot of times you have to reiterate that. You have to drill in those main points because it can get to your head. There's a huge pressure situation here playing at Aspen for X Games Gold medal, and you're likely to challenge at certain times, likely to make mistakes. If we've seen every player here has made mistakes. So they just got to keep calm and say, guess what? Play our game, stay alive, and buy opportunities for our teammates. They will add up over time and equal a win.
There, of course, a look at the fan vote. 76% in favor of EG, 24% in favor of CLG. So definitely a lot of fan support there for Evil Geniuses. If you want to vote, all you have to do is tweet at Halo with the hashtag HaloWC and then the team of your choosing, whether it's hashtag CLG or hashtag EG. Of course, there, a look at Evil Geniuses. So much experience in that. Inside that booth there. And, you know, they also have Towie as well. Big role. We've talked about him and how much of an effect he has on that squad. But at some point, you have to expect nerves to settle in. This is X Games Gold, something no Halo player has ever played for
these players
in the history of
have
Halo
been
esports.
in many national championships, but this is something completely different. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to join the ranks of other X Games Gold medalists.
Yeah. Very, very rare. And as you said, at some point you will expect to see maybe a little bit of pressure, but the people that we expected to see crack under the pressure, you know, your Commonlies and your Frosties, they're thriving in it right now. They're absolutely loving this stage, playing for X Games Gold. Series tied 2-2, heading into map number 5. It's going to be Eden Slayer.
We have 8 incredible players here. It's tough to choose just one to kick it off with, but I'm going to start with Royal 2, who is going to try to hopefully get the sniper off the beginning of the match. Let's see what CLG can do, and look at this. He is going straight towards security tower and going to push towards sniper.
Going to grab over towards that shotgun. Of course, rockets have been taken by CLG. Sniper should be under the control of Snipe Down. I believe it's Snipe Down for EG that has it.
I will try to rotate over and see who has it. I see rockets in the hands of Lunchbox.
Oh.
Actually, Sniper in the hands of Commonly. Here we go.
Commonly has it. Okay.
So not only do they have Sniper, but they have Sniper and Rockets. This is a great start for EG. Even though it just looks like it's a tie game, they have 2 power weapons that can change that very quickly.
Royal 2, he's the player who managed to just grab that sniper rifle just in time, hit that hot flank, and was able to clean that up. For now, though, oh, hello, quick scope, oh, double kill, Lunchbox was right, triple kill for Royal 2, are you kidding me? What was that? Reflexes like a cat, that was insane. And because of that, CLG now have the lead.
Wow, not only did I get the wrong player with Sniper, but I missed that incredible triple kill. Thank you for helping me correct that screen, Benson, because I almost made someone not get a rec pack.
They would have been salty, man. Of course, you can redeem those codes. Halo 5 gold rec pack on your screen whenever we see an awesome play. Well, you get to redeem codes and get some rec points, that's for sure. Royal 2 still on your screen, though. The lead 7-4 in favor of CLG.
And looks like right off the bat, they're slowing it down quite a bit. We don't see this aggressive EG squad just pushing in and closing on these CLG members. So if this pace keeps up, as we said before, it seems to favor CLG in a slow-paced game.
Backing away, Lunchbox and Commonly both able to pick up a couple of kills. Roy as well cleans up Frosty. That means Royal 2's by himself. Legs! One manages to get the kill there on Snipe Down. Finally, Roy was able to shut him down. But how many resources did EG have to use just to get that kill on Royal 2?
That's the crazy part, is they took out 2 of Royal 2's bodyguards.
Oh my God, are you serious? This is just sniping bonanza in this grand final.
Everyone is coming here to play and wants that gold medal, but what happened earlier in that CLG set was they took out 2 of Royal 2's bodyguards, and even so, when Royal 2 is backed in the corner, he can still hit those no-scopes and keep himself alive.
Roy does have that sniper rifle out, and you'll see him put it to good use there as he cleans up Snakebite. Rockets have just spawned up, and that's exactly why he's throwing those grenades out. But smart play from Roy, like this, doesn't want to lose control of Sniper, backs away, waiting for some team support.
It's a great play to relocate in that situation. You just need to create some distance. But right now on the southern screen, as you can see right here, we might see an engagement between these 2 power weapons, and Roy is in a bit of a predicament.
And Roy, of course, has that sniper rifle in his back pocket, but he's able to shut down Royal 2. Sniper rifle out, nearly hit it. Frosty able to clean him up, though. These players really starting to turn up in this grand final. 14-13 in favor of EG. Of course, series tied at 2-2. Rocket fired out, but Snipedown will shut down Snakebite. Frosty there to clean up Lunchbox. Now over to Snipedown, putting some good shots down, but not able to pick up the kill. EG lead by 1.
Looks like both these squads are trying to get control of blue base, and the reason for that is Sniper is coming up right now. We're going to have to see. So far, the Sniper's been in both hands. We've seen Royal 2's hands and in Roy's hands, and I feel like whoever gets control of this next weapon is going to take the lead.
Snipedown playing so cautious in this blue base. Snakebite did just get that perfect kill on Lunchbox. Rockets come in handy though for Snipedown as he turns around, shuts down Frosty. There's going to be the sniper rifle in Snipedown's hands. Of course, I believe that's the old one though. That is the old one, correct. So he only has 1 bullet left in that, but we'll see if he can be efficient with it and put it to good use.
And look who snuck away with the new one. The man who got the triple kill earlier. It is Royal 2.
Oh my god!
Just hitting absolutely everything. This kid is a monster.
He just isn't missing. I want to see what he has installed on his Xbox. Is he maybe got like an aim hack or something? The guy is just crazy. He does a headshot on Roy. Just finding the most incredible angles right now. Royal 2 lighting up this main stage. CLG now lead by 1.
And Royal 2 being in great position outside, realizing that rockets are coming up at that 8-minute mark and helping his teammates get control of it. Right now he's telling PJ, aka Snakebite, grab those rockets. PJ was actually taken down, and it looks like EG's at least doing a decent job of swarming outside, but at this point, when you have
Royal 2,
when you have Royal 2 hitting shots like that, there's not too much you can do about it.
He is just not missing, as you said, Walsh. Putting it, don't please, okay, good. All right, he's human, he is human, he can die.
He's partially human.
That's good to know, EG.
I think the common word for that is demigod.
Demigod, that's the one I was looking for. On board now with Snakebite, who does have rockets. He has 3, to be precise, left in the chamber if he wants to use them. Should pick up the first kill on Commonly. And I think Commonly may have just dropped Sniper Rifle as well. So Snakebite may just call that out to his teammate. Preferably, you know, if you want to give the Sniper Rifle to anyone right now, you want to give it to Royal 2.
Yes, and I can already tell by this how this game is going. I don't see a 50-39 score in favor of EG. If anything, this is going to be a neck-and-neck game. Both squads are going to be probably 50 to 45 plus.
Definitely looks that way as Rocket comes out number 1. Sniper Rifle goes for the no-scope. Snakebite not able to clean up. Expected the rush to come in. Fantastic initiative from Snakebite as he picks up 2. The third player rushing towards him. Lunchbox was able to shut down Frosty. He can actually just see him. Throws out the Promethean grenade, but wants to try and keep the Sniper Rifle alive. Goes for the no-scope. Connects. And Snakebite gets the kill with the grenade. And just like that, it's a 2-kill game. 31-29. Still in favor of EG.
Snakebite also got a hit marker on that second player of EG who's stuck there under red base. So you see, I believe it is Frosty or Lethal who ended up chasing that kill down.
Still on board with Snakebite. Does have that Sniper Rifle out. 6 bullets left. Needs to put them to good use, and if he is efficient with this, he could potentially... Oh my... What is going on? Unbelievable shot from Snakebite, but as I was going to say, if you can use the Sniper Rifle efficiently over towards Rocket's side, you could see CLG get control of both power weapons and then steal the lead.
You got to keep in mind that this is the most important minute mark in the game, the 6-minute mark, because Rockets come up every 2 minutes, Sniper comes up every 3 minutes, so that means every 6 minutes, both those weapons are going to be on the map.
Roy managed to pick up the kill on Snakebite. Royal 2, though, does have the new Sniper Rifle. Can he turn around and get the kill? It's going to be on Snipedown. Does connect again, but Snipedown able to pick up the kill. Can he now get his hands on the Sniper Rifle? No, he can't. Frosty shuts him down. Meanwhile, Rockets in the hands of Lunchbox. It is Evil Geniuses who have the lead in this game, 37-35. It's such a fragile lead, though, Walshy.
I like the idea of a flank here, but I'm just wondering if it's taken too long. Lunchbox seemingly could have gotten over to blue base a bit faster and helped get control of that Sniper Rifle. We'll have to see if it pays off, though.
Shuts down Lethal. He has seen that little red dot. Can he find the second kill? Doesn't matter. Snipedown's able to get it. Roy picks up a third as well. And just like that, Evil Geniuses start to extend that lead. It's now at 5. Can they try and keep it there? That's the question, though, as they go into the final 10 kills.
And I'm trying to get an eye on that Sniper and see where it went, but it just looks like every single time EG closing out Sniper Rifle, it gets relocated. And actually, as I say that, Sniper Rifle in the hands of the newest EG member, Commonly.
I don't know what that no-scope was compared to some of the other ones we've seen. He just made a bit of a panic shot there, but doesn't matter. 42-38, still plenty of ammo left if he wants to use it. 6 shots to be precise. That's more like it. Commonly puts some shots down, but may need to try and get away here with that Sniper Rifle. Does not want to... Oh my God! Commonly! If there was ever a time for him to hit a shot, it was right there. Keeps the Sniper Rifle alive, and more importantly, managed to buy some time for his teammates.
Yes, and with that death, it ruins the hope of my perfect game score. But in the end, if EG still win this, I'm still going to say I got a perfect prediction.
I don't blame you, because this game has been crazy, Walshy. 43-42. Lunchbox trying to put some shots down, has to back away though. 44-42 as Roy shuts down Frosty. EG just needs 6 kills and it could be down to Lunchbox to pick up a couple. There's the first, can he find the second? Backs away, doesn't want to give anything up. Lethal shuts down Snipe down. They just need 5 kills to go 3-2 up in the series.
Yes, and I can't pick out who is going to get these last kills. It's just chaotic situation.
It's tied game at 45-45. You could not ask for a better ending to this game, Walshy.
And I don't know where Snipe Down can run. It looks like he's finally getting closed in on. Too many members out there, but Rockets did just come up. What squad can get control of him? And it's Lunchbox from Evil Geniuses.
They're trailing by 1 kill. 46-47 misses 2. Maybe forced to potentially charge and he's going to get baited out. Lethal cleans up the kill. 46-48. Roy desperately trying to chase the kill, but he may have to back out. He's going to get charged. Lethal picks up 2. 49-46. CLG just need 1 more kill. Snipe Down needs to stay alive.
Yes, and eventually taken down. I could not see who picked off that last kill. It may have been Royal 2 over at Blue Base, but such a close game, 50-47, and my prediction already down the drain.
Well, I'll give it to you anyway, Walshy, because that game was just full of ESPN top 10s right there. That was bonkers, to say the least. But can we just talk about that play from Lethal right at the very end? He dodged 2 rockets, picked up a kill, escaped, juked back, and got himself a double kill to give CLG the cushion and just need 1 more kill to win that game.
Just prior to this, we're talking throughout these other matches how these top pros are where they're at because of their teamwork and their communication, and not just because they go for flashy plays, but we are proven instantly
So
wrong by some of those no-scopes that we saw from, especially commonly in Royal 2.
Royal 2 spent most of that game with the sniper rifle in hand. 18 kills. 18 kills he managed to end up with there. And you can see EG just going to be talking a little bit about that last game. And that's an interesting point, Walshy. You know, some of the newer viewers watching who may not be used to esports as a whole, if you're in that situation, you've just lost an insanely close game, do you use that time to talk about what happened, or do you want to put that behind you and talk about what's coming up?
Absolutely the latter. You want to put that behind you and talk about the next game coming up. After a match, you can actually talk about what went wrong and how to make changes to your gameplay.
Right.
But during a match, you don't got to focus on like a Eden Slayer when your next game type is a Plaza Strongholds.
And to put this Plaza Strongholds into perspective, Walshy, CLG, they win this, they walk away with X Games gold medals, which is just an unbelievable feat. They've played so well all throughout X Games, but I'm going to have to say it. I want to see EG win this. I want it to go to Game 7, especially after that last Slayer. I mean, oh my goodness.
You know what? I was wrong about the first game, and if I'm wrong about every game, we could see a Game 7
Let's
in
go.
favor of EG.
Let's go, Game 7. Yeah, that would actually give you the most correct predictions out of any caster here. So technically, I see what you're trying. Reverse psychology, I see what you're trying to do, Walshy. I see what you're trying to do. But as it stands, CLG, of course, do lead this gold medal matchup 3 maps to 2, putting them just 1 map away from that unprecedented X Games gold. Heading over to the next map, though, what are your thoughts?
Well, one thing I'm just thinking of is we are so blessed here at X Games because normally matches are best of 5s. However, here at X Games, we have a best of 7. Normally the series would be done and over with, and we'd be crowning a champion. But EG still has a chance. It's no easy feat by any means, but it's a chance.
Of course, there you can see the fan vote coming from everyone watching at home. Just if you would like to partake in that, just tweet at Halo with hashtag HaloWC, hashtag CLG, or hashtag EG. Currently, Evil Geniuses, though, with a massive lead in that, 72% to just 28 for CLG. But that man on your screen right there, Lethal, who left Evil Geniuses to join CLG. He's going to be perfectly happy with that fan vote. He doesn't care. He's 3-2.
No, he does not care. He likes causing some turmoil within the community. So
I think that's fair to say. He was definitely the start.
It.
He was the the flap of the butterfly's wings that caused so many roster changes in the past couple of months. But either way, CLG right now look like the best team in the world when you see some fantastic clutches like we just saw there. But Evil Genius is definitely holding strong and being very, very close to them.
In my eyes, if CLG were to win this event, that would solidify them as the #1 seed in my eyes going into the North American regionals after that.
I think that's fair enough to say.
Same time, no one cares about the event after this at the moment. They're worried about X Games gold medals.
Of course, that is honestly what has been the talk all around the venue. Whenever you're talking to any of the players, they say, yep, X Games gold medal, X Games gold medal, X Games gold medal. It means so much to so many of these players. But, you know, again, let's talk about this next map. Strongholds Plaza, the players are just getting ready to load this one up. Realistically, who do you think is the better team? Obviously, let's say for now that we don't want to just see that Game 7, and we don't both want to see EG win. Realistically, who does a map like this play stronger into? Is it CLG?
Well, last time we saw a Strongholds game, EG won it 100-66.
Good point. So we'll have to wait and see if they can try and replicate that and force a Game 7 here in the X Games Grand Final. Plaza Strongholds underway, kicking things off on board with Snipedown.
And it looks like just barely fumbled that jump trying to hit that light post, but in the end, he's still going to walk away with this camo. Grabs it at the 11:50 mark, which means it's going to spawn 2 minutes later at the 9:50 mark.
Maybe a blessing in disguise, if you will, by missing that jump. What they will do, as you said, get control of camo, but they need to try and get control of Nest. Nest and bottom middle, very much the preferred two Strongholds. And again, if you are just tuning in into this Halo Grand Final, this gold medal matchup, Strongholds first to 100-point wins, control 2 or more Strongholds to earn points. And that's exactly what Evil Geniuses have been able to do. They get bottom middle, and you expect to see them now head up towards Nest and get that second Stronghold exactly like that. Now they're going to score points.
And look at the beginning of this match. Neither team went for yard. It's just a testament to how popular this bottom middle / Nest strategy is. What happens in most maps that have a Stronghold game type on it is there are 2 Strongholds that can be guarded from a single position. So right now, Snipedown can help bottom middle, and he can look over to his right and actually look at Nest. And look at that kill feed, 3 members down. Snipedown being so aware of the spawn system, throwing grenades near the camo spawn just to make sure CLG spawns in yard, and that's exactly what happens.
So heads up, forces that CLG spawn so far away, and of course, every second counts because it's seconds equals points essentially in this game mode. So the further they spawn away, the more points Evil Geniuses is going to be able to rack up uncontested. And again, that kill feed looking good for Evil Geniuses for now. And Snipedown may actually have to think about potentially resetting. Does pick up the kill on Frosty and gets the reset bot mid. Fantastic reactions right there from him.
That's absolutely huge. Now, explain to some of our newer viewers out there, what is the reset on the Stronghold?
So, for example, let's use bottom mid right now as a prime example. CLG jump on bottom middle. You'll see that little circle start to go, and it's basically the length of the capture. But if you kill the opposition player whilst they're on the Stronghold, it will still stay at that mark it previously was. So you need to jump back on the Stronghold to reset it back down to 0.
So unlike the team that's capturing it, the defending team can just step in it for a split second and bring it back to a full capture point.
Yes, exactly that. And you just saw a prime example of that from Snipedown himself. But early on in this game, Walsh, I can't believe I'm going to say it, we just went from an insanely close last game to Evil Geniuses just locking this one down. CLG yet to get a point.
I tried to jump on with Snipedown to see if he's going to get that second camo. I'm trying to see whom has it, and it looks like in the hands of Lethal, the former Evil Geniuses member. See what we can do with this camo to hopefully get control of the map again.
Oh, and it was Lunchbox who was waiting for Lethal, but Lethal able to use that camo wisely. Now jumps on top Nest, should be able to get this capture, and CLG will start earning points.
And Lethal getting in such a commanding position right here above Sniper because he can see so many angles. Not only can he see that cross over from Cafe, he can look over at Cinema Stairs, he can look towards Bomb Center. And I gotta wonder, was that a mistake to jump towards Bomb Center?
I mean, they were able to get that capture, so for now it could be beneficial. Frosty had to go big though for that, but immediately everyone from CLG does fall. Lunchbox floods on towards bottom middle. They know exactly where they're spawning, and they are now going to regain that 2-to-1 Stronghold advantage.
So look at the difference in those times. Evil Geniuses, when they had a full setup, had 42 seconds, whereas CLG, they seemingly only got 7 seconds. I just feel like EG's full setup right now is somehow stronger.
It definitely is. It's a really good observation that when they do get that full setup, they're just earning so much more points from that. The reward is just so much greater. As Lunchbox now with Royal 2 in front will pick up the assist there. A little bit of help from Snipedown came in. For now, though, CLG do have 2 Strongholds, so they will be reducing that deficit. Commonly needs to try and stay alive here as he makes his way back over towards Nest, but wants to defend bottom middle. Put some good shots down. He's completely pinned in a corner, just trying to do as much damage as he possibly can and buy time for his team.
Yeah, he's buying time, and it looks like it was time well spent because it looks like EG opts just to stop the bleeding. By stop the bleeding, I mean they capture yard instead of going for the ideal situations outside.
Yep, and they did not want to allow that trip cap to gain too much momentum and, of course, reduce that lead too massively as Roy jump up top. Let's see exactly what's going through his mind. Will he potentially try and drop down bottom middle? Maybe not yet. Waiting for more kills to come in from his teammates. Snipedown just down Lethal. This could be that push, but sadly, it will be thwarted by those grenades.
Yes, and there was some great cross-map shots from Snipedown off-screen to allow this push-up by Conley. It looks like that's the go sign for EG to push towards Nest.
Roy just slowly and sneakily trying to put himself in a position where he can use his railgun effectively, and that was the shot he was looking for. Cleans up Lethal, and that kill will allow his teammates to capture Nest. But just as that happens, you can now see Frosty rotating all the way around the outside, going up towards Elevator.
The more important part about that kill on Lethal was Lethal actually had camo. So that was a huge kill to at least get him off the map.
for Frosty. Will take Nest back, so CLG regain 2 Stronghold advantage here. And somehow Frosty has been able to just completely escape. Has Railgun out, kills Lunchbox, looking for the double kill on Snipe Down. Will he be able to get it? Doesn't matter. Lethal there for the support. And look at that score. What was at one point a dominating Evil Genius's lead has now become a very fragile one at that. And more importantly, CLG reducing it by a second.
CLG showing that they can hold full setups too, and just as dominant as EG, as you see, a 3-second game right now.
Beating for Frosty to try and pick up another kill, but unfortunately couldn't charge the Railgun quick enough. And look how aggressive Frosty's being, desperately trying to hunt down Snipe Down there as he does pick up that kill. They're being so aggressive towards you. You have to question, are they potentially worried here about flipping the spawns?
It seems like EG, when they had Railgun, they would sit way back on their side. We saw Snipe Down sitting way back towards Battle Rifle, whereas Frosty is up front, and that might cost him because not only does he give up his death, he gives up that power weapon.
Snakebite, though, is able to pick up 1 kill on Roy. Needs to defend bottom middle. It will be commonly, and he falls very, very quickly. Snakebite doing a fantastic job of putting down shots over towards bottom middle. Royal 2 now, though. What can he do? As unfortunately, he will fall bottom middle. It has been 50% of the way captured. Lunchbox is on it. Lethal looking to try and go for the reset and will get the reset. Does fall, though. Lots of kills being traded, but more importantly, it's CLG now who have taken the lead in this game. 66-51. As I say that, though, Evil Genius's Snipe Down captures Nest, and it's a trip cap for EG. They are going to massively reduce that lead.
Yes, and I'm surprised Snipe Down did not check below him because I believe Camel has to be coming up any second. Unless I somehow missed off my screen, you got to think Coach Towie will be on top of that.
Oh, absolutely. That's exactly his role. But for now, it seems that they're more worried about just reducing that lead. And it's going to be Commonly who does grab Camo. And if he can defend Nest, that is going to be so big for Evil Geniuses. And they're about to tie up the game. Of course, to put this into perspective, if CLG win this map, they win X Games Gold. Evil Geniuses are hanging on by the skin of their teeth.
And this is up to Roy to try and get this reset. But there were 2 members down there. Roy's trying to take down his former teammate Lethal, not able to find him. And I think it's going to be too late. He was able to actually take down
How did
Lethal.
that grenade?
I don't know, he's even still alive.
That was some
Roy just doing
grenade.
such a great job staying alive and buying time for his team.
For now, though, it is still EG who managed to get that 2 strongholds back. A big fight going on towards bottom middle. Snipe Down wins that kill on Frosty. They should be able to reset bottom middle as well and force CLG to rethink their approach here. Commonly able to shut down Lethal once again. Snipe Down putting down so many good shots. Commonly picks up another big double kill. Lunchbox with 3, and you have to ask the question, is CLG throwing this game away?
No, yeah, I guess you could say they were a little over-aggressive there, but I don't think that's throwing away. They still have their priorities right. They're pushing towards Bomb Center. They're pushing towards Nest. It just seems like EG are out-executing. And this is a weird position by Snipe Down. I guess I like his idea because he can get shots on Nest and in Bomb Center, but it seems like CLG's strategy is just a bit more aggressive. It seems like they opt to not give up so much ground.
Big kill from Snipe Down on Lethal there. Stops any aggression from CLG over towards Nest, and for now, will keep CLG at bay. Looking at that score, 85-73 in favor of EG as they desperately try and force that Game 7 here in the gold medal match. We'll see if anyone from CLG can break through, but Snipe Down not missing any shots on former teammate Lethal. However, bottom mid has started to be captured. Snipe Down needs to go big here, buy some time. 2 players go down. Lunchbox now with Railgun will reset bottom mid. That's a fantastic play from him.
Yes, and he's just buying time. He realizes they are only 8 seconds away, and he's not going to challenge us because he realizes that there are 2 members of CLG and Bomb Center taken down eventually, but CLG might not get the capture.
Commonly is just going so big, staying alive. Can he pick up the kill? He trades it. A bottom middle gets reset. That is a fantastic play coming out from the young gun. And look at that score, 98-73. With that, Nest is being captured, but I don't think they're going to get it in time. Evil Geniuses force a Game 7, and look at that boost, Walshy.
Oh my God. We could not ask for a better match than this. So much back and forth at the end there. And CLG, just knowing that they got that Bomb Center cap, they could have turned it back. And there are a lot of EG fans here and obviously online, you know, based on our Twitter posts.
Absolutely, EG with a huge fan base. The EG chant breaking out after every fantastic play from them. And you look at the scoreboard, but it definitely does not tell you the full story there. Roy, 23 kills, 10 assists, 15 deaths. Snipe Down, 17 kills, 8 assists, 14 deaths. Commonly, though, the player I really want to highlight had only 15 kills, 14 assists, though, 14 deaths. Pretty much even across the board. But he was making some of the most individual clutch plays in that game. That play bottom middle wins Evil Geniuses the game.
Yes, and what incredible plays by both squads. I mean, It's interesting seeing these different strategies match up
Game
against
7,
each other.
let's go. I mean, could you ask for a better X Games final, Walshy?
No.
You just couldn't. It's been
A Game
back
7
and
for the
forth.
gold medal is the best you could ask for.
All right, the question I have to ask you, the pressure, what's going through these guys' minds? Game 7, X Games gold. I mean, what's the closest comparison you can give me?
Oh my gosh. I can't come up with a witty analogy right now, man. Usually I come up with something ridiculous, but
do.
right now I'm at a loss for words before this Game 7 match.
It's just absolutely crazy. Let's take a look at the series recap one more time. If you are just tuning in and missed some of those early games, it's been a pretty epic grand final, that's for sure, and it's fitting that between these two great teams in Halo Esports, it goes all the way to that final map. To recap, Coliseum CTF, where it started so long ago, CLG won 3-2. Evil Geniuses then won Truth Slayer 50-39. Rig Strongholds went in favor of EG once again. However, this is where CLG fought back. Fathom CTF a 3-2, close game. Then Eden Slayer, which was an absolute just ridiculous game, 50-47, and then Evil Genius at 173.
I want them to keep the series layout up for just a second longer because look at these breakdowns. If you look at both flag games, favor of CLG.
Yep.
Both Stronghold games in favor of EG. Now when it comes down to Team Slayer, you have one for EG, one for CLG.
Lord.
Who's going to take the third one?
It's flip of a coin at this point, I really think. It's just absolutely ridiculous, back and forth. And there, of course, everyone on social media voting at home. Hashtag CLG, hashtag EG. Make sure you tweet at Halo with the hashtag HaloWC for your votes to be counted. Currently 67% in EG's favor to just 33% for CLG. But as you said, that was such a good point out there of exactly how this series has panned out. Both teams winning one Slayer makes this last Slayer so much more interesting. We're going to regret, though. So from what you've seen from both teams' playstyles, does one team have an advantage here? Does this suit CLG's longevity of gameplay?
I haven't seen CLG play much regret. However, when we watched Evil Geniuses play against Allegiance on this game type, they got stomped. I believe it was like a 50-33 in favor of Allegiance. So that does not bode well for Evil Geniuses based on that result.
Of course, there a look at the X Games gold medals. Such beautiful things. What, of course, are two teams currently competing for. One map to decide whether you walk away with a gold medal or a silver medal. The pressure has never been higher for these players, and honestly, so excited to get Game 7 underway, Walsh. It has been just such an awesome time here at the Winter X Games here in Aspen. Went snowboarding, that was fun.
That was incredible.
Watched some great Halo, that's been pretty fun as well, gonna be honest. But as we say that, Game 7 is loading up. Regret Slayer, let's go.
Yes, the focal points are going to be getting that overshield bomb center, getting the fuel rod on top pink, and most importantly, controlling top center. Because when you control top center, you have angles on every portion of the map.
All right, kicking things off in Game 7 for our gold medal match. It's win and you walk away with X Games gold at this point. On board with Lunchbox, already putting lots of shots down over towards OS. No one able to grab that just yet. A couple of kills going down in the game, tied 1-1. There's nothing too crazy going on. Snakebite, though, was able to grab OS and, more importantly, get out with full usage of that.
Yes, and for those unfamiliar with OS, it gives you an extra layer of shield, but at the same time, it'll depreciate over time, so he wants to make use of this immediately.
Yeah, so you expect to see those OS players play a little bit more aggressive than maybe they normally would, just to try and get extra use, but Snapdown says, see that OS you got? Nah, not anymore, my friend. Picks up a nice double kill and also ties up the game 4-4.
Snapdown making good use of that plasma pistol combo, and just a step ahead of Royal 2, getting that new combo medal, taken down by Frosty, jumping on with Snapdown's teammate Lunchbox, who was also taken down. This is just absolute back and forth madness.
It's chaos at the early parts of this game, that is for sure. CLG do have that lead. 7-6 fuel rod cannon in possession of this man. Commonly the new fourth and the new addition to Evil Geniuses before this event. Had that big question mark over his head, but has really performed at the top level here at the Winter X Games, and it'd be fitting to see him go off here in this Game 7.
And this is missed opportunity right there by Commonly, because he realizes they have to get some sort of pick before they push out. All the members of Evil Geniuses are stuck in one base, and looks like they're making a coordinated push towards Carbine side.
Commonly still with one shot left in fuel rod cannon, will not be able to connect with that. Throws out the grenade, now goes for the pistol. Lunchbox has some good support. Game tied once again at 9-9. Nothing can separate these two teams just yet. Walsh, I think we should just take advantage of this, of us being casters, and say, let's make it a best of 11. I don't want the series to end.
I would love to see it go to, why stop there? Why not go to like best of 15?
I'm
best of
100%
31?
okay with that, as I'm sure everybody watching at home would be as well. But sadly, we can't make those rules, which is pretty unfortunate for everyone watching, I'm sure. But on board now with Snipdown.
Now, unfortunately, EG is not only down just by 2 kills, they're also down in position. Roy is trying to change that, however, by sneaking around towards top center with the crouch, walking and sneaking up there. But can it be enough? Because Fuel Rod's coming up and Overshield should be up any second.
Starting to see CLG potentially build themselves a lead, but it's immediately thwarted by Commonly, who picks up 2 with Fuel Rod, and more importantly, Snipdown has OS as well, so both big key power weapons and power-ups controlled by EG.
Evil Geniuses turned that around. I said that they were down by 2 kills and in inferior position, and now not only do they have better position, they have Overshield and Fuel Rod cannon. 3 members down for CLG. A misfire by Comley. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite him.
That was a big win from Lethal, taking advantage of that missed first shot. Roy with the perfect kill on Frosty. The lead at 3, gets the assist as Snipdown cleans up Lethal, and you are starting to see Evil Geniuses gain a little bit of momentum. Just the look at the call-outs coming in from EG right now. You can see it in Roy's face as he's playing. Can they continuously build this lead there? That's the question. Roy being so patient with that DMR, waiting for plays to push him.
One thing I want to point out in this game is its fast-paced action, and who does that favor? Evil Geniuses. CLG is desperately trying to get some control of the map and slow it down a bit. And look at this, kill after kill. Snipdown with a Top Gun medal and a perfect kill medal. Let's stick with him through the respawn.
Just not allowing CLG out of their base. They have them completely trapped, and what was a neck-and-neck game now is massively in favor of Evil Geniuses. The lead at 7 kills. It just shows you how quickly things can change. When you get power weapon and power up control, Lunchbox does fall. CLG getting back-to-back kills. Can Snakebite find a third though? That's the question. Trailing by 6 kills now as Commonly cleans him up with the grenade.
Yep, leaving Snakebite and going on to the dub Frostbite combo. Frosty seeing what he can do to get control of this top carbine area. They are down by 7 kills, and Overshield's coming up any second.
Couple of kills going in favor of Evil Geniuses once again. Frosty on your screen putting a lot of shots down, but just cannot escape Evil Geniuses' aggression. Commonly hits a perfect. So many perfects coming in from EG. It's as if they are thriving under the pressure of this Game 7.
Yes, and I'm trying to look and see if anyone from CLG are in position to contest this Overshield. Looks like Royal 2 is, but I cannot see who's grabbing it.
He's able to pick up the second kill on Roy. Put a lot of shots down. Instead, just jumps on the OS. Can he get away with it? Yes, he can.
That is massive.
Royal 2 going big for CLG. Frosty cleans up Lunchbox. A look at the score, though. It is still increasing in favor of Evil Geniuses. 35-26. They have to use this OS. They have to be efficient with it. They cannot allow Royal 2 to get rushed and lose that advantage.
Royal 2's goal right now is to use this Overshield as a buffer to get control of top center. He realizes if they get control of top center, they can flip the spawns on EG.
My lord.
And wow, look at that perfect /double kill by Royal 2.
And he's not finished just yet. He's trying to challenge for the triple kill. I don't think it was enough time, but look at that score. He has been able to reduce it. Now down to 7 as he does get traded. But Evil Geniuses are 13 kills away from walking away with X Games gold on board with Snakebite now for CLG. Desperate to do everything to prevent it. We'll see, can he now try and get control of that top mid area, something CLG have struggled all map to do.
Yes, and both these squads vying for that top center spot. You see Snakebite getting challenged there, but wisely backing down, getting help from his teammates, and once again, jumping towards top center to get control of it.
It's worth mentioning at this point, trades are not beneficial for CLG because EG have such a prominent lead in this game. Still a 6-kill game, and you can maybe expect to see the tempo slow down a little bit, which is exactly what you don't want to see from Evil Geniuses. Keep playing at this pace.
Yes.
CLG can't handle it.
They just gotta go kill for kill, keep at least some sort of presence on the map, and keep it fast-paced. And that's going to be not too much of a problem, seeing how Overshield is coming up in about 25 seconds.
This is going to be so important. Whoever can get control of this next Overshield potentially could walk away with a win. Unfortunately, Snakebite gets caught top middle. He will fall. 35-41. Frosty with a couple of players top mid. Can he try and escape? He's going to have to try, but he's going to fall as well. 43-36. Just like that, Evil Geniuses storm into the lead. It was Royal 2 who made the nice play last time OS spawned. He's going to be forced to try and do something similar once again.
Yes, this game depends on CLG getting control of this next Overshield. Looks like he's trying to take down Snipdown, who has the Fuel Rod, but in the end, Overshield's what's going to determine this fight, and looks like Snakebite has it. This is the opportunity CLG needed.
Potentially CLG could do this, but they need to win these trades. Lethal was able to shut down Lunchbox. Roy responds with a kill of his own on Lethal, though. 39-45. Evil Geniuses 5 kills away from X Games gold. CLG trailing pretty heavily at this point. They need 11 of their own, but they need to use this OS efficiently again. Get control of top mid.
Yes, they need to use that Overshield as some sort of bait by pushing top center, soaking up some damage, and eventually get in control because they just can't sit back and go for kill for kill. It looks like CLG is playing passive. They had the weapons, they had the power-ups, and look at this. Snakebite running away, eventually taken down. Sniped down in the EG squad, smell blood as they have 49 kills.
And Frosty's gonna get killed as well by Snipe Down. Here's the new combo, and look at what it means to Evil Geniuses. Your X Games gold medalists just erupt in the booth. And as you said, Walshy, a little bit of a misplay from CLG at the end, but Evil Geniuses, they don't care about that. They just won X Games gold.
And oh my God, you know EG have to be feeling good, proving their former teammate Lethal wrong, saying you made the wrong decision. You left the squad that won the X Games gold medal.
Yep, it doesn't matter what happened online. It doesn't matter what happened in groups. All that matters is when you played for X Games gold, Evil Geniuses came out on top. A fantastic performance from the Evil Geniuses lineup. The pressure was on so heavily, and you have to give massive props to Commonly as well for holding his own in such a high pressure environment, Walshy.
Commonly stepped up to the challenge and is now walking home as an X Games gold medalist. I am envious of this squad right here, man. That is an accolade that you'll hold on to for the rest of your life.
And it's not bad for his first season as a professional Halo player, is it? To be
Not
quite
bad
frank?
at all, man.
That's
first season of professional
start.
gaming for me, I think I won like $50 at my first tournament or something like that. This was back in 2002 before we had great leagues out here like the Halo World Championship.
Little different, $50, X Games gold. I know which one I'd rather have, but once again, massive congratulations to Evil Geniuses. Let's take a look exactly how this series panned out. It was CLG that started out strong before Evil Geniuses bounced back, took 2 maps back to back. CLG then responded with 2 maps of their own before EG forced the game 7 and ultimately take it 50 kills to just 40. But just doing a little bit of analysis post-game, I know it got very hectic towards the end of that game, but as you mentioned, CLG get control of OS, they get control of Fuel Rod Cannon, and then they just play so passively, it's as if they were playing so afraid of giving anything
They
up.
just sat back at blue base, and they should have had no fear. They had overshield. They could have used that to push out and take up some damage. Instead, they let EG bring the fight to them. They just sat back in that base and just played so differently than they played earlier in the event.
Of course, there you can see the CLG booth, a little bit of a different atmosphere, but they will be walking away with X Games silver medal. Still a very, very impressive accomplishment, considering we had the 8 best teams in the world competing here. But very, very different mood for CLG, of course.
Yeah.
They had that game in their grasp, and they just couldn't close it out. But Evil Geniuses, of course, absolutely ecstatic. And it just begs the question, do they have 5 gold medals for Towie?
Ooh, I don't know.
Maybe Towie's going to like chop up a little bit.
Subject.
Yeah, actually, I probably shouldn't say that. But either way, Evil Geniuses, once again, a huge congratulations to them. And when you look at that series, I believe that means you, as all the cast predictions, were the most correct.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. I usually am.
This guy. So congrats on that. You got the most points. Yeah, a lot. Congrats. But once again, Evil Geniuses coming out, taking X Games gold in emphatic fashion at Game 7. You couldn't have asked for anything better, could you?
No, that was absolutely incredible. And you just saw CLG either collapse under pressure or just change the gameplay at the very end, because originally they had to slow down the game pace because EG were just rolling them over. They were just getting kill after kill. They always had numbers. But at the end of the game, when CLG had numbers, they had, there was an equal 4-on-4 situation. They had Fuel Rod Cannon and Overshield. They just played so passive. They sat in that confined area and allowed EG to bank in some grenades and basically negate that entire Overshield. Whereas if Snakebite had just been a little more aggressive, just pushed out, create an opportunity, and jumped towards top center, all of CLG could have maybe thrived in that chaotic situation, pushed out, gotten some kills.
Well, as we said, congratulations once again to Evil Geniuses on that X Games gold medalist. That's crazy to say, and I'm sure they're ecstatic themselves. Let's actually go down to the floor with Bravo and Evil Geniuses and find out their thoughts and emotions.
All right, thanks, Ben. What a series we had down here. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Evil Geniuses, your X Games gold medalists here. The first Halo players to ever take home X Games gold here at Winter X in Aspen. EG, let me get in the middle here. Let me ask you guys some questions. What an absolutely insane series. Every single one of you are shaking when you walked up here. Walk me through the whole series. You're facing against CLG, undefeated through the entire tournament, right? Haven't dropped the game on LAN in North America. How do you go into that series?
I mean, to be honest, we went in with the mentality of we have nothing to lose. I mean, I would say that 95% of the public thought that CLG was going to beat us in that series. And in hindsight, the games that they won were 3-2, 50-47, 3-2, and the games that we beat them were honestly pretty dominant, to be honest.
Eric, there were some words exchanged before the interview, during the interview with Lethal. Tell me, I mean, Walshy made a few comments about how you do not want to fire you up. You don't want to strike a match to gasoline. How fired up were you in that first series, in the first game?
I told him before it started, the last person that said that to me lost the series, and they lost the series too. So if you're going to talk trash, better back it up, and we took that series home.
Possibly a lesson learned for other players who want to talk trash to Snipe down before a match. Towie, you got to be super proud of these guys. Talk to me about the coordination, you guys, to get through all 7 of those games. What was required on the communication level?
I mean, to be honest, we just slowed it down. You know, we played our game. We felt like we maybe didn't play our best yesterday, but, you know, we really showed what we're worth today, and we are going to bring our game to regionals and to the Halo World Championship.
Hemi, you said it yourself. This is your rookie season here. You're a brand new player. These guys believed in you to bring home X Games gold. You've done it. What are you thinking right now? What's going through your head?
It's honestly just crazy. I came in here trying to win, but I don't know. It just it's just awesome, yeah.
He told us no at first when we asked him to team with us, just throwing that out there. We had to talk him into it, and he's probably happy he joined now.
Jason, I got to ask you one thing about that last match. We were sitting here watching in the front row. It's about 43-37. CLG has fuel rod, fresh fuel rod, and overshield. And somehow in the bottom right of the kill feed, you guys are still getting kills. How do you win the game without the power weapon or the power up?
I think that's been the biggest problem since we've picked up Hammy, and even with TJ, is that we are very undisciplined in some Slayers, and this Slayer we were as disciplined as we could have been. You know, we knew where the OS guy was. We were avoiding him and, you know, killing his teammates. And, I mean, we just played it very well in that scenario. All 4 were top center at the end at one point and killed them all. And then, you know, we all just collapsed on him in the base to get the last kill.
I saw you guys erupt in the booth. You've got to be so stoked. You're the first Halo players to win X Games gold medals here in Aspen. Congrats to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Evil Geniuses, your X Games gold medalists. Back to you guys in the booth.
Nothing but smiles, as you would expect from the boys Evil Jesus. Interesting, they had to convince Commonly to team with them. I'm not sure. That can't be true, surely. Who would turn down teaming with 3 of the best Halo players to grace the game? But nevertheless, a fantastic overall tournament for Evil Geniuses. There was a little bit of doubt when they lost in group stages to CLG 3-0, but they come back and managed to take it in a Game 7. And there, of course, you see those lovely gold medals, and I feel bad because Towie doesn't actually have one.
Oh man, dude, why'd you have to bring it up?
I'm sorry. I'm sure they'll get one made just specifically for Towie. But I mean, it looks as if it's almost a little bit of look of relief on Evil Genius's face, because coming in, I think there was a lot more, not necessarily doubt, but there was other teams who people were making arguments could potentially win this event, which isn't something Evil Genius has been used to. They've been used to going to events saying, oh, no, we're going to win this event, and everyone kind of just predicted them to win.
It's rare to hear that percentage come out of Roy's mouth where he said 95% of the people thought that CLG were going to win the series. That's nothing you ever really hear from a match that Evil Geniuses are a part of.
Yeah, it's very, very strange. But as I said, a little bit of relief, it seemed like, as well as nothing but ecstasy, really, from that whole squad. And, of course, here was the bracket, exactly how it panned out. The action started early on this morning with the semifinal. CLG stormed Renegades 4-0. Evil Geniuses, a little bit of a fight they had to make as they went up against Allegiance, winning 4-2. Of course, in the bronze medal match, Allegiance took that one home convincingly 4-0 before the gold medal matchup goes all the way to the final Game 7. 4-3 victory for Evil Geniuses, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was the only game in the entire tournament that went to a last map.
The only 4 games that CLG lost this entire tournament.
Boom.
In the
exactly
finals.
That. Let's take a look, of course, at the prizing payout. And it's been extremely, extremely entertaining watching all weekend. Of course, commiserations to everyone that finished 5th through 8th. Dream Team, Epsilon, Team Liquid, and Pentasports. More specifically, Team Liquid, they're definitely going to have to go back to the drawing board before heading over towards regionals. Definitely try and change up a couple of things. 4th place, Renegades. 3rd place, our bronze medalist, Allegiance, the #1 North American seed. They walk away with that bronze medal. Silver medal, CLG. And, of course, our gold medalists, Evil Geniuses.
Just an incredible week of Halo so far, and we could have asked for better storylines and a better finale to that last match, because just seeing EG versus CLG, that 43-47 situation in Game 7 where EG defying all odds, defying the power-up in odds, and coming back and winning that game, proving their former teammate Lethal wrong.
Absolutely, and of course, this event not about the money. It was all about the prestige and the X Games gold. However, the Halo World Championship, that is where the big money is. The current prize pool, $2 million. It is massive, and it is ever growing as well. That is the key. Thanks to crowdfunding, rack packs, all sorts of goodies. That is only going to get bigger. Of course, first place of that, $800,000. Well, that is mind-blowing.
And one thing about this weekend that shakes up the Halo World Championship is that in the 3 most recent events, we saw, obviously, the X Games here in Aspen, EG coming ahead. We saw the most recent NA ladder, where CLG came ahead, and we have the third squad, Allegiance, who had won the majority of the online ladders. Right now, I don't think there's a clearly defined #1 squad. Had CLG won this, I would say, guess what? They won the most recent online event and the most recent major live event. However, that's not the case.
That's true. That's true. So definitely you're starting to see teams develop into different tiers. I think that's definitely fair to say. But the action from X Games isn't over for Halo 5. We actually have a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. Here's a look. Pre-game starts at 11 a.m. before we have a celebrity match at 11:15. And then the match I'm super excited about is the All-Star match, 12:30 p.m. Walshy and Elamite going toe-to-toe, battle of the coaches. Man, don't let me down, man. Don't let me down. I spent more time with you in the booth this weekend, so I have to vote for you in that head-to-head. You cannot let me down. You need to beat Elamite.
I mean, I don't want to take any shots here because it's kind of undeserved if I take the shot Liquid, but Liquid didn't play so well, and Elamite's currently the coach of Liquid.
Ooh, shots fired.
I didn't. You made me do that. You made me do that.
No, I did not make you say a thing. That came out of your mouth, not mine. Of course, if you are more interested in more competitive Halo, the Asian qualifier will also be going on twitch.tv/Halo, so you can check that out there. But from myself and Walshy, that is going to conclude today's coverage. Congratulations once again to Evil Geniuses on your gold medals.